I tried to do this dumb joke early on in comedy where I was like, the problem with everybody talks about how like Barbie dolls had a negative impact on women's self-image.
Yeah.
You've heard that.
What about Brat?
Yeah, I was like, well, brats had a negative effect on how they act. Nobody ever talks about that.
Dude, how did that not work? Are you serious?
I wasn't funny enough when I was doing it.
Pal. Hey!
I'm uncomfortable.
Welcome to Kratom Mountain.
That was the, what was the sketch we were going to do at the start? With the baby?
Oh. You walk into a Chinese restaurant and or massage parlor.
Oh yeah, rub and tug.
Yeah, you know, there's no communication with the woman at the front desk. There's no facial, it's like very stoic. You just walk in, you hold up a full-size, freshly killed duck. It could either be with the feathers or without the feathers. And an older Chinese woman looks at the duck that you just presented her. She takes the duck, she weighs it, and then she goes in the back of the parlor, she returns to hand you a Chinese baby. Without saying anything, you take the Chinese baby, you walk out, and then the very next scene just cuts to you like walking down Lower Manhattan with the Chinese baby like strapped to your waist.
Yeah, I just found a flaw in the plan because we were going to use a white guy's baby. We could do yellow face.
Well, here's the thing.
We could paint it yellow.
I don't know if it would be funnier to do white baby or Chinese baby.
Yeah.
White baby would be more.
It would be a little weirder, yeah. Weirder that they have white babies.
Why do they have a white baby?
Yeah.
But a Chinese baby, I think it'd be funnier because it's a Chinese baby.
Yeah. Yeah, you're a white guy walking around with your
Chinese
purchased
baby.
Chinese baby.
Yeah.
That is fun.
And it just leaves so much to be wondered of like, what is this relationship going to be like? You know, like with a white baby, they're like, okay, he's just adopting, but like. It's like you're going to be a single father to a Chinese child.
What if that's like the black market adoption process? Like if you can't pass like the requirements to become an adoption parent, I don't know, a foster parent, fucking retarded. But if you can't become a foster parent, you have to like go through this weird Chinese rub and tug that also sells babies.
Yeah, 100%. That would be one of the.
It's like buying a
many
pit bull
vessels.
on Craigslist.
Yeah, you could probably get a Mexican kid at a Taco Bell or something like that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure most Taco Bells is a service they offer.
I'm sure it's on the extra secret menu.
Oh, the secret, extra secret.
It's like the
extra,
fucking animal style at In-N-Out.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
You give a wink and like a bag full of jalapenos, and they just
quick
give
blowy.
you one of the way too many babies they have, anyways. And he grows up to be Benicio del Toro in Sicario.
That was Benicio del Toro? The main character? In Sicario?
The one that shoots the cartel leader and all his family?
The main character.
Well, you could argue that the main character is, what's his fucking name? I thought there was a dude. There's Emily Blunt is one of the main characters.
I'm thinking of Serpico.
Did you not see Sicario?
I saw Sicario, but I always confuse it with Serpico. I just saw Sicario.
There is some overlap.
There kind of is.
Yeah. Some angry Latin men.
Sicario. What's the plot? I watched this, by the way.
How high were you?
I was very high.
Yeah.
I had taken Kratom. When was this? Fucking... I might have been on Klonopin, Kratom, and weed.
And you have the gall to say it's not a good movie. You were like, yeah, fuck Sicario, it's whatever.
I don't remember enjoying it. I had a good memory of it.
Well, it's definitely not the film.
I forgot that the laptop today is our mic, so I have to bring this a little bit closer to make sure. I'm sure we still picked that up, but it might have been a little bit quiet.
Oh, sheesh.
And shish kebab.
Yeah, man. Sicario
What's
is
the plot?
for sure not a high watch.
Oh, they go to Tijuana.
There's nothing funny about it.
No, not Tijuana. What's the other one that's right over the border?
Oh, Christ.
They go to fucking...
El Paso's the one right on the border.
They go to the other side of El Paso.
Yeah.
I think maybe it is Tijuana.
It might be. I thought Tijuana was on the coast, but below San Diego.
Yeah.
Google.
They went to somewhere featured in Narcos, Mexico.
Right.
And then...
do you remember the scene, though? Because if you don't remember this scene, you should rewatch the whole movie
Which
just
scene?
for this scene. Because it's an amazing scene.
The drugs fuck up my recall.
Yes.
But I can I'll remember it if you say it.
The scene where Benicio del Toro finally confronts the cartel leader that killed his daughter.
Yes. I remember that very thoroughly.
That's an amazing scene.
Yes.
It's a mediocre movie with an amazing scene. And I'm jealous. It's like when you go to an open mic and there's a comic who has an amazing joke and the whole rest of their set is awful and you're like, God, I just want to steal that one. You don't need that joke. You know what I mean? That joke's going to die with you.
Yeah.
But if I could take that joke, I could take it places.
They need it for their tombstone.
That's
going to be the one thing.
They need it for their 2 minutes. Yeah. That is it. But no, that scene, it's like, oh, God, if you had that scene in a better movie.
Yeah. If it was in Serpico, now we're talking.
Yeah. Because the cartel leader, he like sneaks onto the cartel. Well, spoiler alert.
Oh, yeah.
Spoiler alert if you haven't seen Sicario.
Yeah, if you didn't pick up on that by the fact that we've been discussing the end scene of Sicario over the last 2 minutes.
It's like maybe 20 minutes from the end or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's Benicio del Toro is a bad motherfucker in that movie. And he dedicates his life to like working with the DEA to try to bust up cartel rings in Mexico because one big cartel leader killed his daughter back in the day when he was like an agent in Mexico.
Yep.
And
I'm remembering.
He finally tracks down this cartel leader. He sneaks onto his ranch, his like big fucking property in Mexico, and the cartel leader, the wife, and his 3 kids are, seated around a dinner table having dinner, and Benicio del Toro just pops out of nowhere, and they're like, what the fuck? And he's got a gun. So they're like, hey, don't kill us. And Benicio del Toro, he fucking, he's pointing the gun right at the cartel leader, speaking to him in Spanish, being like,
see,
yeah, you know who the fuck I am, bro. And then you see him, he like point and he fucking starts firing.
Yeah.
And you think.
Because he's Mexican, he's fucking popping out shots like this.
Yeah, this was a racist way to fire the gun.
He's like, I fired Chicano style.
He's shooting a bow and arrow.
It's a crossbow.
These are real native roots. Yeah, it's like from dusk till dawn. You think he's going to kill the cartel leader, but instead he kills the cartel leader's wife and his 3 kids. And the cartel leader's just sitting there in stunned, traumatized silence.
Whoa.
And Benicio del Toro just takes the seat of one of the fucking kids that just fell down and died, slams his gun on the table, and is just like, well, what now, motherfucker? What now, essay?
And he's like, finish your meal.
Yeah,
that's
dude.
Fucking rough. And the guy just sits there stunned.
Yeah. And he's like, keep eating. What's wrong?
Yeah.
I just killed your family in front of you, bitch.
And then he
finally kills him.
Yeah. He's like, I've gotten all I need.
Wouldn't it? Oh, it would have been even more diabolical if he didn't kill him, though.
Yeah. What if he ate his food? Pretty diabolical. No, I'm going to eat your pasta.
A 10-minute sequence. It's like Bobby Flay. He's just like fucking cooking tostadas in front of him.
He's just roasting his fucking cooking. He's like, what kind of chef?
He takes out a torch and starts roasting poblano peppers and like stuffing them full of fucking Oaxacan cheese. Oh. Yeah. The fine line between drama and absurdist comedy in film. I took a class like that at SUNY Purchase Film School.
Whoa.
Yeah, dude. That's why I can break down films with this kind of laser precision.
I took a class called Consciousness at the new school.
Oh, that sounds even gayer.
That's why I'm enlightened.
That's why I'm homeless.
It's why I'm gay.
Yeah.
I realized that they're the real Israelites.
Damn, dude. What is the vibe over at the new? First of all, what a fucking douchey ass. You're gonna call your school the?
It's the most retarded name.
New for how long?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I still call my porch in my family home the new room, even though we got it when I was 3 years old.
Yeah, but that's like a fun inside thing. You're not charging people $70,000 to sit in your fucking new room.
I don't know.
Sometimes
I'll charge a guy $70,000 to sit in my porch.
If you can get it.
If I can get it.
But I want to walk up to these new, like, yeah, it looks like the old school to me, you fucking losers.
Yeah,
what are you studying here? Gender, quantum physics? What was the new school like?
A lot of gender quantum physics classes, actually.
Yeah.
No, they were too retarded for science. There were no science majors outside of psychology.
Oh, okay.
The closest thing was a science minor. There's a minor in interdisciplinary science. It's not even like just chemistry.
Right.
It's basically you do high school 2.0 in different sciences.
Damn, bro.
But it was a fucking weird school. It's cool because it's like it's weird and cool because it's progressive as hell. So it's like 50% of people are psych majors, the other 50% are gender studies majors.
How does the vibe compare to NYU specifically?
More hippie-ish, hipster-ish.
Okay.
NYU's more like Yale. More
but they're still rich. They're like rich hipsters. Oh, that's the worst, bro.
Yeah, it's just rich, white, 20-year-olds.
That sounds like one of the worst vibes.
It's like NYU with ketamine.
It sounds like Wesleyan.
Yeah, very similar from what I know about Wesleyan.
Or Sarah Lawrence. See, SUNY Purchase, I actually, of all the colleges I could have gone to, I dropped out after one semester. It was like, I'm not fucking taking out tens of thousands of dollars alone for a film degree. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad as far as they come. I could appreciate the vibe there because it was a really weird mix of the art conservatories there are world renowned. Like they have one of the best acting programs, one of the best dance programs. I think those are like the really elite ones, but their film program's good. Their painting, all their programs. Oh, the music one is also like top notch.
Yeah.
So the kids that go to those programs are like really smart, really talented. A lot of them are really rich.
Yeah.
Even though it's not an expensive school, they just And but everyone else, but it's a state school.
Yeah.
And it's one of the cheaper and easier state schools to get into.
Yeah.
And, like of the SUNYs. So then you get a bunch of fucking like strung out druggy retards.
Yeah, totally.
Who also want to be artsy.
Yeah.
Because they're adjacent to the cool artsy kids.
Yeah, they're like, Jimi Hendrix is pretty sick. They're like, I want to go do Xanax and play guitar.
That's exactly what it is. Like, have you ever heard of Jimi Hendrix?
Yeah. They're like almost as good as Tame Impala.
Like, yeah, dude, Voodoo Child, great song, dude.
That did used to be in the middle of my acid playlist.
Really?
Yeah, because I would just like get out of a stupor when it would start playing. Like I'd be like fully out of it. It would be like right after a bunch of ambient shit through the peak of the trip.
Yeah.
And Voodoo Child would come on and I'd like rise up like I'm coming out of a fucking coffin.
Whoa.
And I'd do this like fucking like
I am the Voodoo Child.
Well, you feel like you're being like not struck by lightning, but like you're like electric on acid. So like when you have that kind of like heavy distorted guitar playing that's really kind of like not thrashy but like really
I bet
it's like it's sexy.
That was the best word choice.
It is sexy. And so I'd be on acid feeling
Hendrix
electric.
is a sexy guy.
And I'd be fucking sexy dancing in my room alone.
Whoa.
And I'm sure it looked like hell for anyone who might see.
Yeah, I'm sure anyone else would like, look at this fucking... I bet he goes to SUNY Purchase. This fucking...
Nope, there's the new school.
This fucking fruitcake.
The new school was similar, though. I went to Lang, which is the liberal arts school. But the music school there, Manus, is one of the best music schools in the country. And the design school and fashion school, Parsons, is one of the best in the country.
What, Parsons is connected to the new school?
It's one of their main schools. Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Has that always been the case?
Oh, yeah.
So the new school's old?
Yeah, it's from the 60s.
Oh, I had no fucking clue.
Yeah, it used to be called the New School for Social Research.
Okay.
But
I thought it was called the new school because it was relatively... I mean, I guess that is relatively new.
Relatively.
But yeah.
It's not an Ivy League.
Whoa, okay, yeah, because Parsons is a big deal.
Huge.
Big deal, yeah. So that makes sense.
Yeah, and Manus is huge in music, too.
So there are some really talented and thereby probably smarter and potentially more intellectual people at the new school.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I was doing music stuff, it was like where I was going to audition. 3 of the best schools are in New York, which is it's Juilliard, Manhattan School of Music, and Manus. Like out of the country, it's like those 3 plus Curtis.
Manus, I haven't heard of.
Yeah, it's pretty high up. But
Berkeley, right?
Berkeley's really high up there. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Bard had a pretty good new music.
They did. I auditioned there too.
Word. Remember Corey Chang went. Shout out to Corey Chang. I don't know if we should be name dropping people.
We could bleep that. But, yeah, we knew some people who went to Bard.
Yeah.
A guy who I spend like holidays with, his family. His mom is close with my mom. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh yes.
He
went to Bard too. So they both.
Oh no, did he go to Bard?
I didn't think so.
I feel like I'm wrong about that.
This is now riveting podcast conversation.
I'll cut all of this out because I don't want to be embarrassed by not knowing.
Hey guys,
I'm currently on Kratom and smoking weed.
In the comments, who's been to Bard?
Yeah,
and is it the best school ever?
Tell us if you've been to Bard and
do they have great Greek life there?
I don't think they have any.
Are they lynching black people as a hazing practice?
I gotta be honest. I visited Bard. Looked pretty awful.
Oh
yeah.
my
Unless
God,
you want to be Bob Dylan, then it's not going to be good.
Yeah.
And it's like he was
If
New
you
York.
want to be Bob Dylan, it's perfect.
Yeah, if you want to be a folk singer,
they'll turn you
it.
into Bob Dylan. They'll castrate you.
Chinese children come into Bard and turn into Bob Dylan.
They look just like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of it, he's kind of squinty.
He's on the squinty spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they implant blue eyes into you if you don't have them before.
True. But interestingly, if you're on the squinty spectrum, you're also squinty if you're on the spectrum.
Dude, fucking
maybe that's
full
more
circle here.
I think this is more the Down syndrome spectrum.
Yeah, I think
autism.
we're mixing up a lot, but it's all the same.
Yeah, you know what I'm going for?
Yeah.
The idea, it's got legs.
There is a theory. I'm not saying I agree with this theory,
yeah.
but there are Reddit threads that say that all Asian people are just white people with Down syndrome.
I only started some of them.
I don't think that's accurate historically or genetically.
No.
But it's, it
Probably
would
not.
explain some things.
It would.
Some things.
Maybe
not all
it's true.
They're very pale. But, Bard, there's so many of those schools. There's so many of those, like, we are a beacon on a hill of artistic ingenuity. And, like, if you want to fucking, make the new MGMT album.
Yeah.
Or write, great poetry for that matter.
Yeah.
You should come here.
Yeah.
Your parents should go broke.
Yep. You could do it at home, but you could also do it here.
You can do it on YouTube in like a week.
Yeah, but you could also do it here.
Yes.
And spend $300,000.
Yeah, and then we'll pester you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and doesn't that sound better?
Yeah, you'll make friends.
Yeah.
You'll make friends.
It's really what you should do.
Yeah.
For the friends.
But it's, the ones that get to me, because some of them are like, okay, this is clearly a great school. They take it real. But then there's like a lot of posers. There's a lot of ones that are like, they're just stealing money from people.
Yeah.
Fairfield U and Sacred Heart are like that.
I could see that.
I live in Bridgeport, Connecticut, so I'm adjacent to 2, like, really expensive Jesuit colleges.
Yeah.
That are, like, not that hard to get into.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be an idiot.
Yeah.
But it's like kids that are way not good enough to get into NYU.
Yeah.
Will go to these schools and get an incomparably worse experience.
Yeah.
For the same amount of money.
Yes.
And it's like, what is the point, dude?
Yeah.
Go to community college.
But they can't leave their parents' home for 4 years while their parents pay for it at community college.
That's exactly the thing.
Yeah.
Right? If you want to get fucked up
for
4 years, you got to go to one of these retreats.
Dude, I kind of wish I went to a school with a campus. I feel like I missed out in that regard.
Oh, yeah.
Just because there's so much... I had a campus for 1 semester at a choir college where everybody was a fucking pussy and nobody hung. But it would have been fun to hang hard, go to fucking games and shit.
There's something to be said for them.
Yeah.
There's something to be said for the college experience.
I've got friends who went to Quinnipiac, and they'd always go to like games.
Is that how you
and
think
shit.
It's pronounced?
Yeah.
Or that's how it's literally pronounced?
It's either that or Quinnipiac.
Everybody says Quinnipiac.
I've heard both.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard whatever you just said.
Quinnipiac.
It fucking made my... I'm like, what is that?
It probably is Quinnipiac. Quinnipiac.
Yeah, it might... That actually, because it's, Native American.
Yeah, they wouldn't go Quinnipiac.
Yeah.
Quinnipiac.
Wait. Say that again?
It probably is Quinnipiac.
It probably is that.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Dude, you should work at the Pequot Museum or something.
Welcome to the Pequot Museum.
Yeah.
Oh, did you ever check out the Patrice album? The Patrice O'Neill album, Mr. P, where he has the second track is called Tolu.
No.
And he just happens to ask this other black guy in the audience what his name is, and he's like, "It's Tolu," and he's just like,
"Is that black?"
Yeah, he's like African.
Okay.
Yeah.
So native African.
Yes, yeah. His parents are Nigerian, I think.
Well, actually, that's not even really native I mean, that's I get it, you're native to the country of Africa, but you're not like a tribal person.
No, it's a native name. It's a historical name, ancestral name or whatever.
Got you.
Presumably.
Word.
But he has this 8-minute conversation that's just the second track in this album with this guy, where he's just like, "Listen, that's a hilarious retarded name."
Yeah.
But then he's like, "I get it. My aunt tried to get my mom to name me Lumumba." And it is his middle name.
No way.
Patrice Lumumba O'Neill.
Whoa.
I'm almost positive. I forget if I'm totally positive. I'm 95% sure.
That's a great story.
And I think it's named after some president in
Lumumba sounds like some shit he would just make up.
Yeah,
out
totally.
Of pocket.
Absolutely. Yeah. But it's like he's like, yeah, back in middle school or whatever, like your white friends because he was with a group of white people, and he was like, your white friends in school must have been like, "Oh, that's such a nice ethnic name," or whatever.
Right.
And then he's like,
your black friends just tear you apart.
He's like, this guy's named Tolu. He's like, "Oh, you with your spear and your shield, Tolu. My name is Tolu."
That's hysterical.
It's the funniest fucking thing, dude.
I gotta look it up for sure.
It might be better than that album. Generally, might be better than Elephant in the Room.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I'm looking it up 100%.
And Elephant in the Room is one of my favorite albums of all time.
Well, yeah, I thought that was universally considered his best.
It's the best special by far.
Right.
But it's
I didn't know he had another a full album.
Mr. P came out posthumously.
Whoa,
it was recorded after Elephant in the Room.
And all different material?
All different material.
Oh my god.
It's incredible.
I'm looking this up tonight.
There's also a Patrice O'Neill archive release on Spotify that has some new shit on there too.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of good albums out there, man. Most people don't look into comedy albums anymore.
No. Well, do they even exist anymore?
People rarely make them, but sometimes. It's just so easy to film now. It's like, why would you not?
Right. It's probably all older comics anyways.
Yeah, typically.
Todd Barry's got a new comedy album.
Yeah.
So you can listen on your drives.
Well, mid-2010s, it's that's when it was still really happening in recent times.
Oh, yeah. They'd go Dane Cook went double platinum or some shit.
Well, even after that, Kevin Nealon has one from 2013, I think. Norm Macdonald has one from 2016, something like that. Me Doing Stand-Up was an album, I believe.
I guess it is a little bit less pressure, too.
Yeah.
An album. You're not being filmed.
It is a little nicer. And I know Louis releases both. He did Live at the Dolby as an album, and then the same material at MSG as a special.
Yeah,
with slight differences.
You know what? It is a fascinating point of if knowing you're not being filmed really changes the way you deliver jokes.
Yeah.
Or even changes it changes the way you write.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to write jokes necessarily that are very physical.
No.
If you know you're not being filmed.
And in addition to that, it changes the way it's going to be perceived.
Yeah.
Because it's so different to watch a special versus listen to an album. When you're listening, you're so focused on... there's so much guessing as to, what's really happening in the room.
Yeah. It leaves room for imagination.
Absolutely. Whereas, if you're watching them the whole time, it's they have to be animated, or you'll get too bored to keep watching, and no one's going to listen to a visual special.
It's like a book versus a movie.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing.
Yeah, if a movie's boring visually, even if it's the same content as the book, no one's going to be interested.
And I love listening to comedy albums.
Yeah.
That's the best when you're, going to bed.
Oh yeah.
But nowadays, like I'll do that with Netflix specials too.
Yeah, I will too.
Close my eye. But a lot of times I'll find I gotta I gotta look at the screen.
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss the joke.
Although, you know who, I was about to say, you know, who kind of is able to be boring on stage without really it being a problem to watch them. I was going to say Cosby, but he's very animated in his movements. Even in that one where he's just on a stool.
Norm, for sure.
Norm is a great example.
Yeah.
But he has great facial expressions, too.
Yeah. Almost everybody seeing them will add to it.
Yeah, they're animated.
Because that's why people are paying to see him live.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, they're fucking legend. I mean, when I used to drive cross country with my dad, that was my introduction to comedy.
Yeah.
And he gave no fucks how old I was. You know, I remember as a 8-year-old driving across country, listening to Dave Attell's Skanks for the Memories and some of Stanhope's specials. And
no refunds.
Unbelievably fucking funny.
Yeah.
You know? Like, no visuals needed.
Yeah, totally. I do love that about Stanhope. He has so many early albums.
Yeah, a lot of them.
And so much of his stuff is so densely packed with, like, not information, but content, I guess.
Yes.
That it's like, it almost helps to not have to look.
Every bit is like a standalone.
Yeah.
And every album, very different vibes from album to album.
Totally.
Too. It's like different musicians, like we're doing progressive rock this time.
Yeah, where it feels like it's just a reflection of where he is at the time.
Yeah, how drunk he is.
That's kind of what I love about a prolific comic too. Is like, I hate when I run out of a comic's content. Like, Hedberg.
Oh, it's like a death.
Yeah, it's so sad because it's like that Hedberg. There are 3 albums. There's 1 special. That's it. There's a few late night sets, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But outside of that, that's all you're gonna get.
I'm surprised he has that many albums.
Me too. Yeah. He got 1 out.
I know he had the 1 special.
Yeah, that one's big, and the unedited version of that's 20 minutes longer. But it's like he's bombing for a lot of it.
Right. Oh yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, it's a crazy watch. It's 45 minutes on YouTube.
Yeah.
But his Comedy Central presents.
Legendary.
But then, so there's like the problem of like you run out of content with certain people, but also, I like Louis' idea. It seems to be that he doesn't want to perfect the bit in a way that Seinfeld will, where it's like I want perfect wording for every single thing I say. I want to know it's the instead of it, all that sort of shit. But Louis seems to be more like this bit is different depending on the night I perform it because it's actively being created in the moment that you perform it, as well as being influenced by previous times you performed it.
Right.
And I think that allows you to put out more content.
Oh yeah,
and
100%.
And just the idea that you're going to do an album a year or a special a year. The idea there is just like it's funny. It's funny stuff. It might not be perfect.
Yes.
And the most funny it could be. But now I can put out so much more content that is funny.
Absolutely.
Which is also more thought-provoking for the audience because there's more things to talk about.
You always have to take that into account when you're judging an artist.
Yeah.
Right? Is like how much... Tarantino talks extensively about this.
Really?
Yeah, because he's someone who's been... I've always been fascinated by him as a person because he's paradoxical in many ways. Like, he is... like one of the greatest directors ever, like takes his shit super seriously, very like he's a total auteur and he's totally does everything in a like he doesn't take notes from producers.
Yeah.
He doesn't give a goddamn like he's gonna do whatever he wants to do. And most of the directors through history who are like that, whether it be Orson Welles or Alfred Hitchcock or Stanley Kubrick, like these very like obsessive, perfectionistic, like wackos in many cases.
Yeah.
They don't have that much of a contact with the audience.
Yeah.
They're not showmen. They don't like to talk that much publicly about what they're doing.
Yeah.
Whereas Tarantino's like he goes on talk shows all the time. Now he's going on podcasts, and he's very invested in how people perceive his legacy.
Yeah.
Which it's weird to have both of those at the same time. To be like a Woody Allen level filmmaker where you're like, I beat to my own drum and I'm so unique and individualistic. But unlike Woody Allen who like doesn't give one fuck what Tarantino's like, Like, he's said that he wants to retire after his 10th film.
Yeah.
Because usually filmmakers just get worse and worse as they get into old age.
Yeah, Seinfeld felt that way too. He was like, I want to do no more than 9 seasons. That's what it was. He's like, as soon as you get into double-digit seasons, it's like over for a show.
Seinfeld's a guy who's very concerned.
Yeah.
With wanting a spotless resume.
Yeah.
Tarantino's also said this, which is like, it's so like not necessarily true, but I totally get where he's coming from, and I feel like this as an artist.
Yeah.
He's like, when you judge the greatness of a director, you shouldn't just judge them by how great their best films are. You should also judge them by how terrible their worst films are. Like, you shouldn't just get plus points for being great. You should also start doing minus points for their garbage.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that.
The older I get, I don't think I agree with that either, per se.
Because it's like, at the end of the day, you can ignore the rest. And now you have more gold.
You can ignore the rest, and that's also a recipe for just putting out less content.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need to do the bad to get to the good.
Yeah.
To get to the great. Like, maybe your best things aren't going to be as great.
Yeah.
You don't take these crazy swings and chances that might not work out.
And maybe your best thing is just around the corner 10 movies away after your 10th movie.
And I feel like Tarantino's been playing it a little bit safe lately.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest. Like, I still think he's never made a bad film. I think Death Proof is even underrated and is ultimately a good, enjoyable watch.
I have yet to see it,
but I mean, Once Upon a Time was very, very controversial isn't the word. Some people loved it, some people didn't like it as much. I happen to like it a lot. I thought it was a great film. I thought it was one of his better films in years. But to me, like, all these films he's done recently, not even close to as good as Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Like, his prime run from Reservoir Dogs to... And it feels like part of that might be because Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill, this was him throwing total caution to the wind, somewhat innocent and naive in terms of what he can get away with, what audiences are expecting. Just like his distilled essence as a human being and artist into a movie. And his more recent stuff, whether it be Django or Hateful Eight, it feels a little more contrived.
Yeah.
It feels a little more like him trying to scientifically recreate the magic he's had before.
Yeah, it feels like he's trying to also like apply his own flavor to a traditional style or to a specific topic.
Yeah, well, kind of like how like Beyonce would be like, I'm gonna do a country song. Now.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take over country, and it's like, bitch, you're not a fucking country star.
Yeah,
her newest country song sucks ass.
Yeah, man. I mean, I haven't fucking listened to it, but
listen. You need to start watching more garbage content. You need to get these insignificant references.
I watch Are You Garbage? That's all that matters. I don't. I sometimes do.
What is that?
You've never heard of Are You Garbage?
No, I guess I'm not that cultured.
It's a big comedy podcast.
Okay, yeah.
They're blowing up. It's these two guys, Kevin Ryan and H. Foley. Kevin Ryan and
I've
H.
heard
Foley.
the name H. Foley before.
Yeah, he's a... They're both on the come up. They're like doing live shows under Are You Garbage and shit like that.
They might have been on Legion or something at some
Yes,
point.
that would totally make sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're in that whole scene where it's like Mark Norman and Sam Morril have been on there, all that shit.
Word, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
How did we even get on talking about directors?
Beats me.
Because we were talking about people trying to like control artwork.
Yes. Oh yeah, talking about comics, like Seinfeld versus prolific comics. Like,
right.
Like
there's really something to be said for volume strikers.
Yeah, true.
Volume strikers. That's like a super duper inside joke.
Yeah.
I haven't done that.
Yeah,
volume striker in MMA is a guy who like he's not trying to land the perfect punch. He's just throwing as many punches as possible. So
yeah.
He's gonna hit you before you hit him.
He's like Kirby's flurry punch move from Super Smash Bros. Melee.
100%.
That's a more common reference.
He's none of the damage and all of the vault, but it adds up.
Yeah.
You know? And Woody Allen's and Martin Scorsese's filmography are like a Kirby punch.
Yeah.
From Super Smash Brothers Melee.
Yeah, 100 Kirby punches.
You get a bunch of like duds.
Yeah.
And then some of the greatest films ever made.
Is that old, probably Japanese saying, I assume, racistly, that it's fucking death by 10,000 stings or something like that.
That's an Italian thing?
No, Japanese.
Oh, I thought you said Italian.
No,
no.
That would
make. I thought you were gonna say like death by 10,000 tomatoes. Or some bullshit.
Death by 10,000 fucking
Roman
retards.
centurions. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why it's just retards. I'm on Kratom and it's making me fucking lazy.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, what if I just said fucking retard instead of thinking of an Italian thing?
Well, hey, this might become a Kratom themed podcast.
I'd be into it.
So how many milligrams are you on right now, Nick? Let's do the Kratom rundown, guys. We have some fucking weird graphic with the strains. 2.8 red.
We've got like 5 Kratom leaves for how high I am on it. Come up above my head.
I'll give it 5 leaves of Kratom.
I'll give it 5 leaves.
Well, I just horse fed you green.
Yeah, I took a 2.8 of, what was that?
Green
what?
Mangada.
That was the same as the
pimp grade. I only do that pimp grade shit, son. Yeah, that's the same in the capsules I gave you.
Okay, the same shit.
Yeah.
Mangda it means pimp grade in what I assume is
Thailand.
Yeah.
Because Thailand is fucking sick. I've heard nothing but great things about Thailand.
From people who fuck guys who pretend they're girls.
Yeah, from pedophiles who legally have sex with children.
Dude, I've heard nothing but good things about Thailand from these pedophiles.
Nothing but great things about these boys. They do a great cleanup job.
Oh.
No, just, I guess it's like, I don't know. I've heard it about Vietnam. I haven't vetted any of these rumors.
Yeah.
But apparently it's like dirt cheap.
Yeah.
People are super cool. Food, of course, is unbelievable.
Yep.
And it's like Thailand's it seems like more of a party vibe.
Sure.
Japanese is a little more. Thailand's like.
No, Thailand's
we're
like
throwing down.
It's like the Jamaica of Europe. Or not Europe, of Asia. Jamaica of Asia.
It is the Jamaica of Europe, if you think about it. It really is.
What Thailand is to Europe, Jamaica is to us.
I guess. Jamaica kind of has nothing to do with us, though, really.
No, but it's where we go.
It's close.
It's a close-ish place we go to party.
Yeah.
I love Jamaica, dude. I've always wanted to go to Jamaica. Thailand would be cool. Both of them I worry about getting kidnapped, stabbed, raped, all that shit.
I worry about that in, like, every country.
I worry about that right now.
People, yeah. In this, you should be. You're sitting next to me, motherfucker.
You're a little close.
Dude,
but,
I'm less sedated than you are.
You're right.
Maybe I put something in that I sprinkled a little red in that green.
Yeah, maybe I put a little kratom in your kratom.
Yeah, and now you're fatally constipated.
Anyway, I'm on, I guess I was 2.8 at first, and then I took probably 2.4.
Yeah. So you're pushing 5.
What is it?
Not at the same time, though.
4.8. I'm on like 5.2.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to take a lot more. I've taken upwards of 21 at a time.
He's done 70 drugs in his life, kids.
Yeah, if you haven't been tuning into the previous podcasts, I've done 70 drugs in my life.
He's a connoisseur.
I'm a connoisseur.
Yeah, I'm on 2.8, which is I mean, that's just like the perfect dose I've found for me for performance, like talking and having energy. If I want to get zonked out, you can go higher, but 2.8 it feels more like a like a powerful stimulant.
Yeah.
It's wild that an opioid can do that.
Yeah.
Is Kratom even identified as, like, would you call it an opioid?
It's fully an opioid.
It's an opioid.
Yeah. Well, metragenine is an opioid. It's an opioid-containing plant.
Why does it have stimulating effects?
Oxy is stimulating at low doses.
Really?
Yeah. Oxy is notably different from, like...
Say less.
Dude, for real. Honestly,
God damn.
The first time I took it, I took 10 milligrams of Percocet, just 2 regular Percocets. I walked through Central Park, and I was just listening to the Chance the Rapper version of Everything is Wonderful from the Arthur Show soundtrack. And I was just like, yeah, it is.
We're not drug addicts, by the way. It sounds like we're drug addicts. But
well, you never was.
Yeah.
I used to be one, but I'm reformed.
I'm addicted to a bunch of other worse things than drugs.
True.
Debatably.
Fucking.
I was addicted to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Online mode for a year.
Yeah, that's way gayer at the very least.
That's why it's so much more to be a cokehead. I get so much more pussy.
Yeah, you'd think. I did coke alone. I would play Modern Warfare 2 and jerk off all night.
I bet if you were slinging that shit, though.
Oh, sure,
yeah,
but you're also getting robbed at gunpoint then.
Genital 2 herpes for sure.
Yeah, dude.
At least one herpes 1.
Selling coke is a different game.
Yeah.
It's like versus selling other drugs. If you're selling psychedelics, ketamine, pills.
Weed.
Well, pills will get you fucking robbed too.
Yeah.
Most things but psychedelics and weed will get you robbed. Weed could get you robbed even.
Is the coke because it's just people fiend for it more?
Yes, that's a lot of it. It's also so fucking expensive. They're like, if I rob the plug, that's like $4,000.
Dude, I'm gonna start fucking robbing plugs around. I'm gonna start trapping them.
Yeah, because you rob a weed dealer, best case scenario, they have a pound.
It's like
That's
killing a
$2,000.
caravan in Fallout 3.
Yeah.
You know? You're like set for the game now.
Yeah, really.
It's like I have every rifle. Holy shit.
You get an early game kill
of a crazy.
What are those guys? The Enclave guys with the power armor?
Yeah, dude. Now you're just one-shotting fucking scorpions. That game is so busted. Did you ever play it on hard?
No.
Me neither, because I did this. I had a fucking crazy revelation with Elder Scrolls Oblivion.
Yeah.
Which I recently replayed on weed.
I never played that one either.
Get what?
You gotta not bang on the microphone area.
There was an earthquake. I'm sorry.
His mom came home. It's okay.
Aw. Yeah. She is fat.
Yep.
But oh my God,
she's our biggest fan.
We're literally, yeah. I'll kill you now. We're playing Oblivion sometime.
Sure.
It's one of the greatest games
I've
ever.
been told.
It's unbelievable. But the first time I played it, it was such a fucking slog.
Yeah.
To get through. And because the mechanics aren't that great. Like Skyrim's a way better game mechanically.
Yeah.
Oblivion's just a way better story in my opinion,
Fair.
which I care more about.
I find it hard to get into new lore.
Like newer than Lord of the Rings,
basically. Newer than anything I'm already familiar with.
No, I see what you mean.
Like if it's not Harry Potter, Star Wars, or Lord of the Rings, I can't digest it.
Video game's easier though because you're also playing, you're having fun at the same time.
That's a good point, but it's so much fucking reading to really get into the lore of it.
You don't have to go that deep, though.
That's a good point. You get enough of the sense of what you're doing in Fallout.
Just talking to people.
Yeah.
And also, we're going to be high. We're going to be playing through it together.
True.
And, dude, I put that shit all the way on easy difficulty.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I just had like a pocket dagger, and I was just killing beasts like this. Like you can fast track through that game.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Takes the fun out of it.
If you're going that easy, it totally takes the fun out of it. But what I was doing before also takes the fun out of it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, this is so dumb. Like, why does it take forever to kill even the dumbest fucking things in this game?
Yeah.
You know? You want to find a middle. But Fallout, to me, was always, it felt too easy.
Yeah.
Because of the VATS. Like, even when I played it on hard, I was like, it's like really easy.
Absolutely, I know what you mean. And you do run out of VATS, but it's a cheat, basically.
Yeah, and once you get the comrades too.
Yeah.
Like once I got Fox in Fall, it's over.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah, they do all of it
for the world, and you're not even nearly at the top level yet.
No, I'd always also like save my better guns until I ran out of ammo with my cheap guns, and then like by the time I got around to using my best guns, they were just so overpowered.
Yeah,
it's like I'm playing the end of the game. It's
what's
like
the point?
Yeah, the hardest enemies. I've just got like a vaporization rifle.
That's another dumb thing about you get a fat man like kind of early-ish on in the game.
Yeah, dude.
And that is way OP for any enemy other than a behemoth.
The dematerialization rifle, I think is what it was called. It's fucking nuts. You just snipe people with like one shot.
You have the alien blaster.
We have so many of those, man.
Yeah, man. Still my favorite game ever. Fallout 3 at least. New
Yeah.
Vegas was also incredible.
I preferred New Vegas, I think.
You're one or the other.
Yeah.
You know, it's tomato.
Yeah.
It's Yankees Red Sox.
It's yotato.
It's tits or ass.
Yeah.
It's polarizing, man.
Yeah. It's
But,
men and women. Who do you want to fuck?
Men, who's better, men or women?
Yeah, I
It's
say
the
women.
classic-
You say men.
Classic argument.
That's okay.
And just like Fallout, I'm right.
Sure.
Because I've done more research.
Whatever.
Jordan
whatever
Peterson
research.
proved scientifically.
Go on
men
the
are
carnivore diet. You'll fuck guys.
Well, when I was playing the walkthrough on Elder Scrolls, I found that actually having a fat man was really emasculating. It drove me insane.
I'd rather have a twink man.
I couldn't believe the power I had.
The ancient Egyptians said if any man were to acquire a fat man... I can't do Jordan Peterson.
It's not too far off.
Yeah, man, if any Peterson, man.
Let me tell you this, if Cleopatra had a fat man, well, she wouldn't have to be a woman. It'd be irrelevant to the story.
True. Maybe the fat man would sing at the end of the opera.
She wouldn't need God. Dude, is it just me? Am I a simp for feeling like just getting destroyed sexually by Cleopatra would be like the hottest thing ever?
I feel that way about Sade.
Yeah, but Sade, I feel like would be a sub ultimately.
Maybe.
Is that a stretch?
I mean, Xenu warrior princess.
Sade's hot. I mean, obviously a sexual goddess.
It's a war of the hearts.
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a switch at least.
Yeah, she's a smooth operator.
You heard this here first. Sade's a switch.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what they say.
Yep.
Even though she's really tiny.
Sade, she's a brat most of the time, but sometimes she likes to be a daddy dom.
I fucking hate it. I hate the brat culture
I gotta be honest,
so much right now.
She's a rope bunny mostly, but...
Do you know how many fucking...
Let me check the video quick.
Dumb bitches on Tinder have like Charlie XCX artwork and they're just fucking... They think that they're cool because they like mediocre pop music and protests during hardcore sex.
Protest during hardcore sex?
That's like a brat, right?
Oh, kinda. They're not protesting during it, they're just like protesting in the foreplay.
They're like, yeah, daddy, you can do what you want, but I'm not happy about it.
Not even, dude. It's more just like, you're like, you tell them to... You just did a literal spit take right on my laptop. No, I think you missed my laptop.
No, I missed your laptop.
Thank
I would never
God.
do that to you. I was just deeply humiliated by what I had just done. No,
That's
dude,
hilarious.
what's your take on a brat?
It's during like foreplay, if you're like, yeah.
I'm a foreplay brat, not a...
Yeah, that's
not
what
a
they all are.
penetration brat,
Because
yeah.
it's like what's leading up to it is them being a brat. You're like asking them to do something or telling them to do something, and they're like, "Well, what are you gonna make me do it?"
About Donnie, I give you 50 lashes with your rope.
They're like, "Yeah, what are you gonna do about it? You're gonna actually make me do that? What if I don't?"
I like the idea of the guy just going way overboard.
Just fucking slapping the shit out of her.
At the elbows immediately. It's just like, dude,
You just
this
gouge
is
her
not how
eyes
this
out.
works. Yeah.
You stick 2 fingers up her nose and just yank her.
Yeah. Something extremely painful.
Yeah.
You pull out a snake and just let it bite her. Like, dude.
You just kick her in the pussy.
That's what you get.
Yeah.
All right? No brats allowed in this bedroom.
I tried to do this dumb joke early on in comedy where I was like, the problem with, everybody talks about how like Barbie dolls had a negative impact on women's self-image.
Yeah.
You've heard that.
What about brats?
Yeah, I was like, well, brats had a negative effect on how they act. Nobody ever talks about that.
How did that not work?
Are
you serious?
I wasn't funny enough when I was doing it.
Reintroduced.
That's a better way to put it.
That made me lol, bro. That's hilarious. Yeah. Barbie dolls had a negative impact on self-image.
Yeah.
Brats had a negative impact on mankind.
Yeah. On
It had
men.
a negative impact on the human race.
Yeah.
All right?
It's great to just be so blunt as to just be like, how they act.
Yeah, I know. I like that better. Yeah, what the fuck was with Brat? I don't even remember Bratz.
They're just these fucking sassy Puerto Rican looking dolls.
like emo Puerto Rican.
Imagine like a Puerto Rican Funko Pop.
Oh, God.
It's basically that.
No.
That's basically what I remember.
It's a churro, essentially. I don't even think Puerto Ricans eat churros.
No, I think that's just a Guatemalan.
It's a caramel apple. No, dude. Yeah, they had Bratz.
Boombox.
Yeah. Get the fuck out of here with Bratz, dude. We should buy a bunch of Bratz.
Dude, that'd be great.
Brat collection.
Dude, if we gave away Brats at like
at our rallies.
Yeah. First we should have rallies.
Yeah. We should call them rallies.
We should corner the comedy rally market.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
Rally against Brats.
You get free Brats.
That'd be a fun sketch. Is a fucking protest outside a factory that sells Brats or whatever. The factory doesn't sell it. A store that sells Brats.
That would be very specific.
We go to Brat's headquarters and we're like, it's your fault.
Yeah. It's your fault that my girlfriend owns me.
You ruined our summer.
Yeah. I have low T because I'm sad.
I need Kratom because I can't. You brats.
I can't be happy without it because you stole my manhood.
Because I can't fuck because they're all brats now.
Yeah. I can't break through their walls of protest. I'm not enough of a dom to handle a brat.
No, not even close.
What do they call like a really good girl? Like one that doesn't protest at all? Like a sheep. There's got to be some name for some girl that's just like... that just like gives in immediately. I think they call it rape. Actually, I think it's
probably
just
submissive.
Not good.
I think it's just submissive.
Anyways, Cleopatra.
There's also a sex slave, but continue.
Interesting. What if Cleopatra was a sub behind closed doors?
Well, they say
Mark
when you have
Anthony?
power in real life that you want to be dominated in bed.
But that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That's not true.
I don't know.
You think Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, they're all just getting strapped?
Probably.
I don't think so.
They're probably getting fucked in the ass.
I think it's correlation, not causation.
I don't know about that.
So you actually think that?
I don't know if it's 100% true, but I think it psychologically would make sense.
I think it would make sense in like a Freudian thing, but I think most Freudian shit's been debunked as like not rooted in science or stats or anything.
I feel that way too.
Yeah.
But it feels more believable than Freudian stuff.
Most of the men, at least I've met, who are like alpha male, like they're got their shit together. They're like aggressive. They're super dom in the bedroom as well.
Yeah.
There've been a few, where it's like, oh wow, I wouldn't have expected that Marine to like,
Yeah.
the fuck girl on top is his favorite position.
Well, that's just lazy.
It can be lazy.
It's like you worked out all day and you're like, I don't want to fuck you.
I think it's so hot too, though. I don't have a sex position. I've never had sex, guys. All right, so this is just theory.
So you're taking it from the expert.
Yeah. But reverse cowgirl seems like a real head scratcher to me.
In what way?
I get the concept of like, oh, it's writing, but you can look at her ass the whole time.
Yeah.
And don't you like ass? But it's kind of don't you like ass, you fucking freaks?
Yeah.
But I don't like the angle of the ass. I feel like the butthole is just so in your grill.
I love a butthole.
You love a butthole.
Love a butthole.
Yeah, man. You're a real holes guy. You're like the Louis Sackar novel.
I've got that, what's that phobia where it's like all the holes and stuff? Thessaliophobia or something like that.
I've never heard of it.
It's like
in reverse.
It's like it was this big meme for a while. It was like not a meme, but it was like an online trend where it was just like, oh, I've got this weird phobia no one's ever heard of, but it's just like when there's an abnormal amount of big holes in things, like a bumblebee hive, like a beehive.
It freaks you out.
People get freaked out by that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Or like
Holes
a very
are creepy.
porous hole filled
Very porous
rock.
old man's face.
Honestly,
Yeah.
could be a guy who has like almost honeycomb skin,
Yeah.
shit like that.
But you're all about holes.
Love a hole.
As long as it's not a woman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or gay. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
That would be funny. I find it funny to be gay. But I know I'm not alone in that.
No, I think homosexuality is inherently funny.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Like not in a bad. It's just and like almost every demographic has things about them that are inherently funny.
Yes.
Because they're things that are unusual or less common. There's a inherent humor there. Yes. Like imagine if you were, like now it's so passé to be gay, but imagine if you were in old in the Dark Ages and you found out that like the fucking knight on the hill was just getting reamed in the ass. That's funny.
It is funny.
Everyone at the tavern would just laugh their ass off.
It's funny
and
because
then they beat him to death shortly afterwards. That's where it gets problematic.
It challenges it's just like opposites.
Yeah, it challenges
opposites
stereotypes.
are funny. The stereotype of men is the opposite of being fucked in the ass.
Right.
And it's funny that it's like there's no possible reproductive chance there.
And this is
which is just funny.
That's also hilarious.
For women who fuck women too. It just is funny to
anal's funny.
Yeah.
It's
funny to have anal.
Yeah, it's just dumping a load in a useless ass.
Really, any sodomy is funny. Anything but vaginal sex is funny.
Kind of retarded.
It really is.
Yeah, an alien would look down and just be like, "What in God's name?"
You're like, you're pissing on her? Okay.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're tying someone up is funny.
Oh, all kinks are funny.
Yeah.
But then they think you're kink shaming. Because you're and it's like
it's just funny.
Because you're a straight white male.
People need to stop associating shame with humor. Funny. Yeah.
100%.
Because it's like Down syndrome people are funny. Nothing shameful about it.
Well, they're literally funny.
They're hilarious.
And it's not like funny that people have Down syndrome, which is also funny.
It is funny.
But people with Down syndrome often make you laugh because
they
are
are
silly.
It's like being Jewish often leads to being funny. Having Down syndrome often leads to being funny.
This is what a lot of people wouldn't agree with this, but I think that this is true.
Yeah.
And this really underpins a lot of the discrepancy here.
Yeah.
Is that I think tragedy is funny.
Yes.
I think horrible pain is funny.
Yeah, things going horribly wrong for someone are very funny.
It's like the series of unfortunate events.
Yeah.
If you're a gay retard, that's a series of unfortunate events for you.
Yeah. It's also like there's something funny about you wake up and you're like, I'm alive. Then you get fucking horribly.
It's like a channeling Norm.
Yeah, really.
Oh, I'm alive. What the fuck? Yeah. That's fucking weird, isn't it?
Then your husband throws acid in your face.
Yeah.
Because you wake up, your first instinct is, oh, I'm alive. How good is that?
I'm just imagining a sketch where a woman wakes up from drinks. She's just like, I'm alive. And then very next, she just looks, boom, acid, cutscene. Yeah.
That's so funny.
It's retarded. Dude.
Just wake up and be like, another day.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just get acid in your face.
Of horrific abuse.
Yeah.
Well, because you
just get a machete to the neck.
Yeah. Killed right away.
It's similar to the Norm idea of how it's funny to bomb on stage.
Yeah.
Because it's like people came out to see a comedy show and laugh and have a good time.
Right.
You're a professional comedian who regularly makes people laugh and have a good time. And neither of those things happened.
Yeah.
That's just funny.
It is. That's why people laugh at bombing. And you should laugh at yourself.
Oh,
you should laugh at your own pain, your own irony.
And others.
People will take the retard and they'll be like, oh, well, you think Down syndrome is funny? What's so funny about not being able to take care of yourself? So you have to live with your mom forever. It's everything?
Yeah,
what are you
it's very
talking
funny.
about? That's funny.
It's very funny.
You're an adult playing with trains?
Yeah.
That's fucking retarded. But I guess because they can't find it funny.
Yeah.
Because they're too retarded to find it funny.
I don't know. Some of them I think get it.
Them because they're not that dumb.
Yeah.
When you get a full vegetable.
Yeah.
then it gets like, it's really tragic.
Yeah, at that point though, it's like there's also like you can laugh with someone without them getting that you're laughing with them.
And you can also simultaneously find something funny and unbelievably sad.
Yeah.
Like
But and yes, absolutely.
Like if my mom, you know, if she like died in an eagle attack tomorrow, if she got killed by a bald eagle, I would think I'd be really upset. I would think that was so sad. Her funeral would be tragic. It'd be the funniest fucking thing I've ever.
That would be hilarious.
That would be, if an eagle just ripped her eyeball out.
Yeah.
She bled out. That would be incredible.
There's also something about like people are like, oh, it's either laughing at you or laughing with you. But it's like
both, man.
Yeah, like I'm not laughing at someone with Down syndrome who doesn't understand why they're funny.
Yeah.
I'm laughing with them, even if they don't get it.
Even if they don't get it.
Because it's like I'm laughing because it is funny and I love that person.
You're my brother. I love you. I love everybody.
Yeah.
And we're all retarded.
I think they're so great that they could be this fucking funny.
Yeah.
Even if they don't get why.
Yeah, man.
I have friends who are like, oh, this dude's funny. He doesn't get the reason. Like, he doesn't get why he's funny.
Yeah.
But he's got something. And I love that. No, like, I see friends, or I see random people at the comedy scene, too, where it's like, oh, this guy's funny, but he doesn't... The things he's trying to do aren't funny, but the things that the person he is funny.
Yeah.
And the things he does unintentionally that aren't trying to be funny are funny.
Are some of the funniest things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like, and I can laugh with that person being like, I appreciate that you're doing this. And there's even one guy, he always a friend, I've talked to him about this openly, so it's like it's not a thing. But it's like he goes on stage, he's got premises. And he has like planned jokes that he's going to do on stage. And he goes on, he sets up a joke, he starts talking. Before he gets to any funny punchline, he starts editorializing about the thing he's talking about. He's like, yeah, I just feel like women are just like rude, generally. Well, I don't know if they're rude generally, but like, there's a lot of things that women do that seem to be rude. And it seems to be like it's maybe across the board, but I don't know, maybe... And then he's like, that actually reminds me, it feels like there was this one woman I ran into and gets into this whole separate story, pivots from that to another thing, and then he's like, oh yeah, women are rude. And so he's like, yeah, there's just something about how, like, and they just maybe a half a punchline for that.
And he's not
way
trying
too much
to
later.
he's not trying for you to laugh at how fragmented it all is.
No.
But that's why it's fun.
Yes, he smokes a whole joint.
He sucks.
He smokes a whole joint outside. Comes in, he's vaping a Juul the entire time.
Just starts talking about rude women.
Yeah, then he gets up with like a disagreeable premise that like he could defend. But then he just gets so sidetracked.
That's awesome.
He just ends up being like, what was I talking about? He's like, how much time do I have left?
Yeah.
And whenever he's done like 4 setups and he has no punchlines, so he's like, how much time do I have
Here's
left?
why nuns are rude.
He's like, well, let me finish by just making this point.
Yeah.
And he's like, Nick is kind of right. He does say that. I just come up here and don't get to any points. And he's like, that's kind of right. And I'm in the back and I'm like, yeah.
Oh, that poor bastard. That guy's never going to make it.
No, but he's got other shit going on. He's fine.
Right.
He's a teacher. He's a professor, rather.
Oh, Jesus.
So he's doing fine in life. And he's a good dude.
Right.
And I would always hit his Juul and shit.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
By the way, those guys we hung out with tonight, that was like a weird vibe where, we can bleep this out or whatever if it's too on the nose, but like the other guy was a Yale lawyer.
Yeah.
It's like, what is this?
Well, they were both ex-Marines.
I know, but could that dude couldn't have looked any less like a Marine.
No, but he was probably like cybersecurity.
Right. But they also didn't seem like guys who would conventionally be friends.
No, not necessarily. But through the Army, that shit happens.
Absolutely.
Same with comedy. You end up having the weirdest fucking friends.
Yeah.
Just because you're, like, around these people all the
time.
time.
If you're both good dudes and you're both making each other laugh or whatever.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
There's so many guys like that where it's just, like, they wouldn't put us together, typically, but it works.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm down for fucking anybody who's like a really nice person.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's the rarest thing to find in somebody.
Yeah.
Over the years, I've found. Same thing with dating.
Yeah.
You know. Let's get serious now, man. I'm gonna grab a protein bar.
Did we talk about the sobriety thing we were going to talk about earlier?
Well, we talked about it off mic.
We fully talked about it?
No.
Okay. Was there anything you wanted to bring back up about that?
Well, yeah, I guess we could chat about, I don't know. Like, we were talking about people, AA people. Like, is it a good strategy, as has been, very publicly told?
Not even AA specifically, but getting completely sober. And I would go as far to say, I have particularly a problem with the people who are like, oh, I was an alcoholic, but never touched drugs. I need to get completely sober, including never doing drugs.
Right.
Where it's like, oh, maybe I want to do mushrooms, but I'm sober, I can't.
Mm-hmm.
But you've never taken a psychedelic.
Yeah.
Which are notoriously anti-addictive and can help with alcoholism.
I think that well, that's also people who are like, I would never do psychedelics at all, just because you get a lot of people who are like, I like my life.
Yeah.
I like the way my life is. I don't want to change.
And it could be life-changing.
Almost anybody who fucking says that needs to change a little
Oh,
bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the people who are like, I don't need therapy.
Yeah.
It's like, you could probably use therapy.
I don't want mushrooms.
I am one of those guys who's like, I don't need therapy.
I don't want mushrooms to fuck my life up, to make me worse. And it's like, that's not how they work.
It's highly unlikely, at least,
No.
unless you're like predisposed to psychosis.
Right.
But for most people, they come out feeling like a better person. When I was taking mushrooms,
you just have a fun time.
Yeah, absolutely. In my second semester of college, I was taking mushrooms, acid, mescaline, or DMT twice a week for about 3 or 4 months. And whenever I took mushrooms especially, it felt like, I remember tripping and being like, this feels like eating my vegetables for my brain. It's like, I should be doing this on a regular basis.
And how regular do you think would be productive?
Ideally, I've planned this out before. I could just never stick to it because it's so hard to get myself to trip hard, even though I think it's good for you.
It's a little intimidating.
Yeah, and the ayahuasca tribes will typically say every 3 months, and I think every 3 or 4 months is perfect.
By the way, you moved that back. Do you think it's still at a good?
Yeah.
moment?
See how earlier it was hitting peaks.
Oh, okay.
You want fewer of those.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which happens when we get louder, but I don't want it to be too far because then it's too quiet.
Oh, every 3 months isn't that much at all.
No, but it's like every 3 months doing like an eighth of shrooms or 2 tabs of acid.
Yeah.
Or a breakthrough of DMT.
It's probably a good idea. I mean, unless you're just like feeling fucking great.
Well, that's the thing too. Is like my life is very stable.
It
right
refutes
now.
my prior logic, but I'm talking about people who've never done it. I mean, like,
Yes.
if you've done it, you know what there is to be gained by it, and right now you don't feel like you need that. Then there's no point per se.
I've done it hundreds of times. I don't feel like I need it, but I do feel like there are things that I do that are not healthy.
Right.
There are mental habits that I have that are not healthy.
That it could help with.
It could absolutely help to address those, and it's like, even if my life is going well, it's not perfect. There are always ways I can improve. I'm trying to diet more. I'm trying to not be as, have as much negative self-talk, for as gay as that sounds. I have these intrusive fucking thoughts.
There's nothing gay about it, man.
Yeah.
We all have them. Unless
Yeah.
you're David Goggins.
Being vulnerable is gay, but you got to do it.
Unless you're David Goggins.
Unless you're David Goggins.
And then being
sick.
vulnerable is it's impossible because you're David Goggins, so
Yeah.
it can't be gay. It's not there.
Well, you're vulnerable, but there's always a shell around
You can't
it.
be vulnerable after running a barefoot ultramarathon.
Yeah.
You're just,
You're just in pain.
you're just in the hospital at that point.
He must live in a constant state of pain.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah, or at least he did. I don't know if he's still going as crazy.
Sure.
I mean, if he didn't, it'd be pretty off-brand.
There's
right?
a comic in the open mic scene in New York who sounds a lot like David Goggins. His name's David Dobbins.
Are you serious?
Absolutely. He's very, very funny.
And he sounds just like him.
He sounds like him? No, it's just the name sounds.
Oh, I thought you said there's a guy named David Dobbins who sounds just like David Cocker.
That would be hilarious.
What are the odds, dude?
No. Very different people. But the name sounds alike. I often think of one or the other when I think of one or the other.
So, if you want to talk about this, we can talk about this. Because I wanted to ask you why you were potentially weary of monogamy again. Or you questioned if you could ever fall in love.
We'll get back to the drug thing later, the sobriety thing.
Well, but it applies to that.
Okay.
Because you can also be sober from casual sex in a way.
Yes.
Like that can be viewed as a drug-like behavior.
But I would argue
casual sex.
I would argue that it's not casual, the sex that I'm having.
With more than one woman.
Yes.
So you want to have multiple emotional connections.
Yes.
Okay. But what if you were to find one woman? And again, this is a big if.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what you're doubting. Maybe you're doubting that you would find one woman who you have such a strong emotional connection with that you don't need any other woman.
It's not even that. First of all, I do think that. I've been in love 5 times, 6 times, but it's never been to the point where I'm not attracted to other women and would love to sleep with other women.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't think that'll ever go away. And no married person or long-term relationship person I've ever spoken to has mentioned that goes away.
No, it doesn't go away, but it's also not necessarily something worth acting on. Which, again, the reason why I brought this up is because it applies to the AA thing as far as
it's the same thing.
Alcoholics might say, well, doing alcohol will always sound good.
Yeah.
I would always enjoy it, but I'm choosing to never do it again because it makes my life worse.
When done in excess, which you're arguing you can't control.
When done in excess, or when, even if not done in excess, even if it's just a distraction from things you enjoy more, you know.
But a sip of beer, if somebody's like, hey, I got this good beer, you want to taste it? Well, that's not going to fuck up your life.
No, well, that's where it gets into...
It's really
if there are people who feel like they can't control themselves around alcohol.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like most people in AA wouldn't take a sip of beer.
A lot of them, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I think a lot, because I think a lot of those people, what drives them to AA before they get to AA, at least this was my experience with gambling addiction.
Yeah.
What preceded me finally stopping cold turkey and never coming back was a long series of failed attempts to do it moderately.
Yes.
It was like, I was out of control, and then it was like, all right, I can't be so out of control.
No,
I gotta be able to contain this. And
then
when I just failed to contain it, it started to become absurd for me to think that I'd ever be able to contain it.
Of course. But that's while you're in the habit of over-excess use of it.
Right.
But,
so your theory...
I'm suggesting you go sober to break the habit. Could be 10 years. And then eventually... Hypothetically, you mature... You get self-control and willpower to a greater extent as you age and
across
have more experience.
Various aspects of your life.
Yes. And I'm in the boat of I have ditched certain drugs entirely because I felt like I couldn't control them at the time. I don't think that it's necessarily permanent. I kind of don't want to open Pandora's box.
Yeah.
So I get it. But it's like... I do think I'd be a stronger man if I could control it.
It's one of those...
Maybe that's negative self-talk.
Right, or a negative interpretation of it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's kind of one of those experiments that's virtually impossible to do. Like, I was going to say, like, I'd be interested to see what the research says on that. But, like...
You'd have to get sober people to do drugs again or whatever.
Right, which a lot of times by that point, they're so fucking glad not to be an addict anymore.
Yes.
They're like, why would I even chance it?
Why would I even risk?
But, I mean, I have, like, my gambling, it was, now granted, I still don't have great self-control. And I never know if I will to that degree. But I did, like, take a long break from it, and then go back. And I even had, like, an extensive plan of how I was going to control so that it didn't go. I'm like, I'm just going to bet this much. I'm going to keep this much money in a separate bank account.
Yep.
So I can only access that.
Yep.
And I'm going to go in with a really monk-like state. I'm going to, and within a night, devolve back into total degeneracy.
I had the same thing with fucking ketamine.
Yeah.
I bought 7 grams of ketamine when I was like, I'm just going to buy it in bulk so it's less expensive. Right. And I'm going to save it, and this will be my whole year's supply. Maybe even 3 or 4 years supply.
Right.
7 grams. It's a lot of ketamine. 1 gram is like $80 to $100. So this was like $500 worth.
Big investment.
Big investment. I put it in a kitchen safe, a time lock safe, that could lock for a week. And my thought was, every week I can open it up, do a line, put it back in, lock it again.
You're like, fuck that.
I did the first line, I put it in, locked it. Next day, 3-4 hours after I wake up, I'm taking a knife to this thing. I crack the side of the kitchen safe open, it's plastic. And then I just like open it up, I destroyed the $40 kitchen safe I just bought. And I just started, I did 1 gram a day for 7 days straight.
Now this interests me, because this is what's always been, I've always been fascinated by gambling addiction versus drug addiction.
Yeah.
Because gambling addiction, it's been described as both more pernicious in some ways, but also more rational. I might even be misusing the word pernicious, but like they say that gambling addiction is like it's like particularly hard to break sometimes because unlike a drug addiction, theoretically you could always win.
Yeah. And there could be an overall benefit to your life.
That would result in an overall benefit. If you won all your money back, that would be great.
Yeah.
You're not going to do your 20th line of ketamine and all of a sudden, get all your money back. Or
although the rationality is, theoretically, if you manage it enough, your life can be vastly improved through using it as an enhancer for certain parts of life.
Okay, so that was going to be my question, is what's going through your mind while you crack that safe? Is it like, I need it so bad, I don't give a fuck, I just need, like, it's overwhelming, like, almost pain? Or is it more that of, like, you know what, like, rationalization, like, it was dumb to lock it anyways, like, I like ketamine, I can do it moderately.
It was more, I really, really, really want to do it, and it isn't going to cause withdrawals. It's like, I want to do some intense drug, and this will not cause withdrawals. I could do oxy, but you can't do oxy every day.
Okay,
so I had oxys in there too, but I could only do those every 3 days safely.
Will ketamine ever cause withdrawals?
No.
That's crazy.
Yep.
So basically, like, you wanted ketamine to be your drug.
Well, it was my drug, basically.
Yes.
It's just, the problem was, I wanted it to stop being my daily drug, basically. Not daily,
use it more responsibly.
Exactly. Like, I had been using designer versions of ketamine, research chemical versions, various ones, daily to twice a week for the last 1.5 years. And I was trying to stop that and just buy enough of my favorite one that I could get, because MXE wasn't available, which is the fucking royal crown of dissociatives. But ketamine's second best.
What makes MXE so special?
It's ketamine, but it lasts twice as long, and it releases serotonin.
Oh, Lord.
Instead of acting on the opioid receptors.
They're both fucking good. You like serotonin more?
Serotonin with hallucinogens deepens the experience in a way that I think opioids mutes it in certain ways.
But which one feels more euphoric?
Serotonin.
Like a body.
Anything with serotonin is going to feel the best.
So you would say Molly, this is a reach, but Molly feels better than heroin?
Yes.
Wow.
Easily.
That's an interesting... I wonder if anyone would disagree. Like, I wonder if some of it is a individual brain chemistry.
I don't know, man. I love opioids.
They're fucking great. That's what I mean.
Like,
it's hard to imagine anything being better than that.
Molly. It's ecstasy.
I've never done it.
I know, but it's called...
I want to do it.
They didn't call heroin ecstasy.
That's
Molly
a good bit.
it's literally ecstasy.
That's a good bit.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll have to re-listen to all this shit now.
Yeah.
There's the Molly ecstasy thing.
Right. Ecstasy is called ecstasy. Heroin's called heroin.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
Heroin is a female that will save you.
Yeah.
From feeling like a piece of shit all of your life.
What would be an accurate name for heroin? If ecstasy
Heroin's
is ecstasy,
not bad.
What's heroin?
Heroin is safety.
Safety. Oh, that's deep, man.
Yeah. It's cozy.
Mm.
It's comfort.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, makes it feel like everything's cool,
Everything's okay.
but not like everything is fucking great.
No, but that's not Molly either. Ecstasy's not like that either. Ecstasy is these orgasmic waves of euphoria that you literally feel a wave going through your body, a physical wave of just the biggest, like, shivers down your spine.
Yeah.
Multiply that by 100 and have it flush through every
This is
vein
turning
in
me
your
on
body.
so much right now.
It's honestly, it's not even a good sex drug. It's a terrible sex drug.
I've heard that.
But it's a great platonic love drug.
Yeah.
Like hanging with your boys even would be the fucking
God.
best. We'd probably just put a bunch of blankets on the floor and play Smash
Start
Bros. All
sucking
night.
each other off.
We'd probably cuddle.
I have a friend who was in a brutally toxic relationship with a girl.
Yeah.
And they did ecstasy a couple of times together.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, it was the most romantic experience I've ever had. And it's probably why they could never break the fuck up.
Yeah, I had a
Part of
friend,
it, yeah.
my first roommate in college, before I had switched to the new school. He, early on in his relationship with this girl who I think had bipolar, he took ecstasy with her like 3 or 4 times within like 2 months, within the first 3 months of them dating.
Great, yeah.
And
this
it
is
will,
my wife.
It will make you feel completely in love with them.
Yeah.
You have the most emotionally open, bonding, vulnerable experience you can possibly have with anyone.
Fuck, man.
Unless you're like in the Holocaust or
So
something.
why isn't, I did ecstasy at Auschwitz. That actually a great viral video, dude. That would go super viral.
Dude, I think somebody was talking about, it might have been Sal Vulcano, got high.
Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
You just got it on his tongue, like,
We're doing ecstasy
standing
in
next to the
Auschwitz.
shoes. Oh, man.
I think Sal Vulcano has a story about how he went to the Anne Frank house when he was like really high in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
That wasn't where she lived, was it? I think it is.
Amsterdam? I
Maybe
thought
not
she was in
Amsterdam.
Germany.
You're probably
She had
right.
to have been in Germany, yeah.
Shit.
The Holocaust of Amsterdam.
I thought that's why they had weed now. 'Cause they
Yeah.
need to get over it.
It's trauma, dude.
Oh, man. Anyway, he went to the Holocaust Museum high. Not the Holocaust, Anne Frank house high.
Yeah.
It might not have even been him. I don't fucking know. Somebody was on drugs at the Anne Frank
I
house.
bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once upon a time.
Which is a good story in its own right.
Yeah, it's not bad.
But ecstasy at Auschwitz is a must-do, quite frankly. I'm
That
getting my
could be a good
passport.
sketch.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not even a sketch if you do it, right?
No, it would be a good in
A
life.
vlog? What do they even call it? How I got
We're vlogging our vacation to do ecstasy at Auschwitz.
Yeah. Ecstasy secured. Snuck it through the gate.
Yeah, you get it from a guy at like a sex club in Berlin, and then you're just like, all right, now put it between my cheeks.
You're
till I
not
get
gonna
in."
believe what I'm doing tonight.
Yeah. 2 pills too.
You love Hitler all of a sudden.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my god. So
Oh,
why is
I
it
feel pure.
why isn't it a good sex drug?
It's like Adderall. It just fucking shrinks you up.
It doesn't work.
It shrinks you up, and you're too platonically loving.
Mm.
Like, you're on SSRIs. It kills your sex drive.
Yeah, I don't know how much of it is correlation or causation. I'm going to be
know.
really interested to see it. Definitely if you get to too high of a dose.
Yeah.
For sure.
A lot of serotonin release and stuff to fuck. I've fucked on the end of a Molly trip, but it's
Yeah.
like, it's not the same. It's not great.
And it does cut your desire down.
Yeah, although the best orgasm I've ever had was on a designer drug called 4-fluorinated amphetamine, which is halfway between Molly and Adderall, like regular amphetamine and Molly.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of amphetamine with a little bit of Molly twist to it.
So how'd you get your dick hard? Because I thought you said it's bad for that.
I've done enough jerking off on stimulants that I can worm it out, but it's still half hard.
But it just felt amazing.
Well, I snorted 2CB near the end of.
That's the one.
It's a psychedelic that's like acid and Molly mixed together, and it's an aphrodisiac.
Oh, great!
It's notoriously the most aphrodisiac of any psychedelic.
Why don't people roofie women with that?
I guess it's because like they just wanted to black out. If we're being honest,
but, that is creepy, man.
In the 80s, it was being studied for use as an aphrodisiac.
For like asexual people and stuff.
Maybe, but even maybe for like relationship therapy.
That's what I was saying. Well, I mean, that's kind of what I meant by.
Yeah.
Even if you're not fully ace, there are people. It's common in women post menopause.
Yeah.
I mean, men too when their testosterone dips, but a lot of women. My mom, she's like this, and she's got some friends like this, where like, she's like, I'm keeping it real with you. Sex drive gone.
Damn,
doesn't
dude.
even exist anymore, dude. And I'm like, and out of curiosity, I was reading Reddit threads, and like there are husbands who are like, yeah, like I was in love with my wife, everything was great,
yeah,
and then she has no desire to have sex with me ever
God
again.
damn, dude, that's so scary.
And I'm like, fuck, another reason never to get married.
Yeah, really.
You just don't know what's gonna happen.
You have no idea.
Marriage is my biggest issue with marriage. It's not like, yeah, obviously the sacrament and it's all a bunch of fucking narcissistic horseshit. But like, as far as the logistics of it, I get it. I get wanting to have, but like, it's an attempt to control your future.
Yes.
And I'm not a big fan of trying to control your future.
No, I'm very do what I feel I should do.
Because you can't know what's going to be best for you in the future.
No.
Yeah.
I also just feel like I often prefer the results of following my natural instincts.
Yes, well, this is also very liberal versus conservative.
Yeah.
Because a lot of conservatively, and politics aside, speaking more of the psychology of conservatives, it's all about trying to control your animal instincts.
Yeah.
And to, it's all about commitment.
Yeah.
Right? Well, it's not about what I could or couldn't want in the future. I'm going to make a commitment.
Yeah.
And that commitment is going to be paradoxically liberating.
Yeah.
Because I'm freed from all these possibilities.
Yeah.
I'm just, now this is my thing, and I'm going to be grateful for it.
Yeah, it's almost like being in the army, where they're just like, you just obey orders.
And I think that's fucking retarded.
I agree.
I think it's mostly against human nature. I think it doesn't work most of the time.
I think a lot of people, studies show that like a lot of our closest ape ancestors do monogamy. Unlike most people think, they tend to think that it was not something that was in the ape tribes.
I thought it was a mixture of both.
It's a mixture.
Yes.
But it's like 50-50 at least.
Right.
It's like, there might be 52% monogamy or something like that.
But is it 52% in the sense that some apes are completely monogamous and the other ones are fucking? Or they're all kind of polygamous sometimes?
No, it's one or the other.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was the other way around.
I think it's one or the other.
But I've never read Sex at Dawn.
Well, I read into it because I was listening to Patrice too much. And I was like, yeah, you know, men are meant to go out and fuck all the time and women are meant to raise a kid.
Right, like evolutionarily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I realized, like, oh, that's a logical. It's a fallacy that people believe.
Yeah, but I thought it was more along the lines of, well, women are meant to fuck all the time, too. Not
Yeah.
like men are meant to, like, be monogamous or whatever.
I think it was mostly, like, men go out and spread their seed and women raise the children.
Right.
And stay with that one man for protection.
Yeah. But like I think different strokes for different folks. I don't think monogamy is it can work great for some people, and conformity can fit some people like a fucking glove.
I agree. Yeah, I think for some people it's easier for them. They prefer that way of life.
They like to be bossed around.
Yeah,
and that's why kings persisted for so long.
And it's the same thing. We've talked about this a lot too, as to why some people might want to do something creative, and other people are completely fine without being creative.
Yeah, well, creative. I'm most people. I think you're either creative or you're not.
Yeah,
and creative people just tend to be more liberal on average because of, They're
have more understanding.
They have more divergent thinking.
Yeah.
Creativity is the act of divergent thinking.
Yeah.
And so they diverge from the pack. They like to consider a bunch of different possibilities, because that's how you create things.
Yeah.
You create things by considering different possibilities and then picking the one you like the most, essentially. Yeah. You can't create anything in a vacuum. And so people like that, they're always considering. I've noticed this every job I've ever had.
Yeah.
There's some people who they do great at that job because they're not spending their whole day in an existential crisis.
Yeah.
They're not constantly thinking like, should I really be doing this job? Is what my manager told me to do, is that really the thing I should be doing right now? Is it blah, 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 blah. And that will fuck your whole day up.
Yeah.
And so it's really like, it depends at what stage in your life. Like, you want to tap into different parts of yourself. Like, if you're in a situation where you have to be the nail, you can't be the hammer, you should try to be a damn good nail for a while.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't forget that your ultimate goal is to be the hammer again.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I consider myself pretty good at that. Like, I'm great at getting along with managers. I've never had any authority problems. And yet at the same time, I'll be telling my coworkers behind the scenes is like, yo, this is the dumbest fucking shit ever. Like, you want to be making $20 an hour the rest of your life to be getting bossed around by some asshole?
Yeah.
Like, fucking get a life, dude.
Yeah.
But some of them get really offended by that. Because they're like, well, I like this job. And I'm like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
But they do more than I do.
Yeah. And they do more than pursuing their own shit, too.
Sometimes. In the short term.
Maybe.
In the short term, pursuing your own shit can suck a lot.
Well, it's tough, too, because you could pursue so much outside of work. Like, you could really commit all that time to just a relationship or whatever your hobby is.
Yeah, but most people they're too lazy or they're too on alcohol all the time. They're not crushing their weekends.
No,
you know?
But some people that's all they want. And that's fair.
Yeah, for sure
just
there are some people that's all they want.
Just imagine it was Kratom.
I think it's the minority. But
it's
there
the
are for sure some people.
It's all the minorities.
It's just the minorities. That's why they stay oppressed, people.
Yeah.
That's why we have wealth.
They can't pick up themselves by them bootstraps.
They don't know what they want. They don't know what they want.
They're all wearing sandals. They gotta get boots.
They think they want to fucking sip lean and listen to Little John all night.
You know what?
But
I think I might be a minority.
Yeah, dude, me too, actually.
Dude.
That sounds lit.
I had lean once. It was actually my first opioid, I think. And then it was pretty fucking sick.
I didn't even know lean was an opioid.
Yeah, it's codeine.
Oh, word. Is that all it is? I thought it was like
codeine
mixed with
promethazine, which is basically Benadryl.
Mixed with Prometheus.
It's basically
Benadryl.
Exactly the same thing as Benadryl.
Oh, what a horrid combination.
No.
It actually feels great.
One Benadryl, you take two for allergies. One Benadryl is the equivalent. It's just like a little sedation for 12 hours, and it takes away the itchiness of opioids. And that itching can be a fucking bitch.
I've never been itchy. Well, I've never done like hard opioids before. I didn't know that was a thing.
If you do like 7 grams of Kratom, you get it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I get it now in low doses because I just know what it's like. So I'll just I did stand up on Kratom the other day, and I was like, I just had to take my hat off and be like, I get itchy on opioids.
That's terrible.
It's not too bad because it feels good to scratch it, but it's just like you got a little itch all over.
Yeah, it's a weird side effect though, for sure.
Yeah, and you're numb too, so you can easily scratch too hard and get like red claw marks and shit. I've done it before where I've gotten like scratch marks on my arm before, not bleeding, but when you do like 25 milligrams of Oxy.
Yeah.
Like 5 Percocets, that's when you start to get that pretty hard.
Weird, but it feels really euphoric at the same time.
Amazing.
Wouldn't that be like so good you don't even think or care about the itch? Or you gotta itch because
you gotta itch it.
Yeah.
It itches.
What a weird state to be in.
Yeah, I mean, you can feel fantastic, but if you're itchy, you're itchy.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just gonna fucking gloriously itch myself.
But it feels good to
hours.
scratch it, because it feels good to scratch an itch.
Right.
So you get the euphoria of the opioid and the euphoria of scratching an itch.
Oh, what could be better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Double itch scratch,
That's
dude.
why the minorities
And then you withdraw from the
stay in their projects.
Exactly. Just scratching all these itches.
Sipping lean.
Then they withdraw, and then they're like, man, I gotta scratch that itch by taking an opioid. So
Yeah.
really double itch scratching.
God damn.
Yeah.
We went on a bunch of threads here, man.
Well, let me tie up one, too. Because
tie it up, baby.
The 4-fluorinated amphetamine and 2CB.
Yes.
I took 225 milligrams. No, 200 milligrams, I think, of 4-fluorinated amphetamine. Think of that as 200 milligrams of Adderall.
Oh my geez. Yeah.
Basically
that sounds like I'd be in the hospital.
Yeah. I was fucking, and I then moshed at a ska show. And a guy's dread, I was wearing glasses at the time, and a guy's dread whipped me in the face and hit my glasses off and right into the pit. And I lost them because they were like frameless and like silver, so it was hard to see.
Yeah.
And I'm sure somebody stepped on him. It was a mosh pit.
Yeah.
But like, I turned on my phone light to look for a second because I'm high, and like, it was such a nice ska show that like everybody else is like, "Oh, what's up, dude? You need help?" And they all turned on their flashlights, and now it's like a scene I'm making. So I'm like, I'm sure they're broken. I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
I left that area, and I was like, I'm going home.
I'm too high to see.
And I'd seen that band like 5 times, so it wasn't a big deal.
So so that you were on 200 milligrams of Adderall with what?
Just that at first.
What's it like to be on 200 milligrams of that? That seems like it would just be way overstimulated.
It's what Molly's like too, but it's like Molly has way less dopamine release. So it's more like Molly's like 50 milligrams of Adderall with like a bunch of serotonin.
Because I take like, if I take 40 milligrams of Adderall, like, this is too much.
But it doesn't feel that different from 20.
It's a noticeable jump.
But that's the point. It's noticeable to feel 40 to 100, but it's not like, what's this? It's like, it's just more of the shit.
But it's already, for me, very uncomfortable at 40.
But
so I feel like at 200 it would be like...
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel on 40?
Well, if it was pretty euphoric, but pretty uncomfortably stimulated.
At 40.
Just speeding. But with the 4-fluorinated amphetamine and with Molly, you get so much euphoria from the serotonin release that you're feeling so good, you don't care about how much your jaw is clenching. You don't, which it is.
That's kind of like meth too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Meth is like a little bit of serotonin with, meth is like 10% serotonin. 4-fluorinated amphetamine is like 40% serotonin.
Right.
Molly's 100%.
So is it possible that someone would not like meth because it's just way too stimulating?
I don't know, if you take 10 milligrams, it's like 15 or 20 of Adderall with a little bit more euphoria.
Okay, so you can kind of toy around with meth.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just a blanket.
No, I knew guys...
Because I've heard crazy meth stories.
When I was on the psychedelic forum, the Shroomery, there was a few guys who would like smoke meth or snort meth, but then if they like woke up and they were really exhausted one day, they would just eat 10 milligrams of crystal meth. And it's just, you could do it like a pill. It's amphetamine, it works.
Hell yeah.
And they do prescribe it they literally prescribe methamphetamine hydrochloride.
Right.
To people who Adderall doesn't work for.
Yeah, like we gotta kick it up a notch.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this 5-year-old can't focus.
Right.
And we tried 10 different stimulants for him.
Let's give him the real thing, guys.
Yeah, it's like a last resort.
What they do in Appalachia.
It's also a weight loss drug.
Well, that makes all the sense in the world.
Yes,
Yeah.
Vyvanse too.
So, alright, tying that thread, let's get back to...
Oh, wait. I gotta finish dying it because I got home, snorted 10 milligrams of 2CB with this peppermint oil sea salt nasal spray I made. And then jerked off, somehow got my dick out. And I didn't really feel the 2CB should make you hallucinate pretty hard, but it's like not mental psychedelic as much.
Right.
So it just, but mixing an aphrodisiac with that much speed and Molly-like feeling.
Oh yeah, this is the best cum shot you've ever had.
Yes, the best
right.
orgasm I've ever had. And not even like quantity, just like feeling.
Yes.
The second I came, I just had that huge Molly rush through my body because the psychedelic, it doubles the amount of serotonin being released from anything like Molly.
Right.
So now it's like 80% as soon as it kicks in, and the 2CB only kicks in when I come.
Oh, Lord.
So I went from not hallucinating barely at all to suddenly full-blown, like, rippling patterns all over. Like, everything is like a checkerboard pattern.
As you're jizzing.
The second I jizz, it just erupts in visuals.
You basically jizz the universe in half.
Yeah, exactly. My
That's
whole vision
wild.
became liquid and was just rippling and checkerboard covered and shit.
And it felt next level.
Amazing.
Just now imagine if you did that and you were getting fucked in the ass.
Dude.
How good that would
By a guy?
Bro, you had a massive prostate 2CB Molly 200 milligram Adderall orgasm.
Gotta make it happen.
That's God's plan, bro. That's what they call, that's Christianity.
I always wanted to try certain mixtures, like I did 2CB and 4-fluorinated amphetamine. I've done acid with Molly and ketamine, and I've always wanted to try mescaline with acid, with shrooms, with Molly, with ketamine, with laughing gas, and 2CB.
Why not? Right?
They would all
They
mix.
should sell those over the counter.
If you did a quarter of the normal dose of all those psychedelics, they would all mix in a weird way with their own subjective influences on the trip.
Yeah.
And the Molly would just add another layer to it of empathy and love and euphoria. And ketamine would dissociate.
This is another business idea. Let's make these bespoke drug combinations illegally.
I've always thought that if drugs get legalized, which is a long shot,
yeah.
but I'm an advocate.
Sure.
I would open a store that sells stuff, but also educates the people before they purchase it.
You'd knock it out of the fucking park. Dude.
I would also then make cocktails that I would sell. And I'd be like, this will work. Take this at this time.
Yeah.
Then 2 hours later, take this.
This will give you the greatest orgasm of your life. Just take it.
It should probably do
you
that.
You sell it to like a 9-year-old.
Speaking of which,
hell yeah.
I have all these old drug notes, and in my things to try, I literally have mescaline plus LSD plus MDMA plus 2CB, LSD plus MDMA plus 2CB plus DMT.
Are you sure you want to be sober? Are you actually living a better life now?
Honestly?
Yeah.
I'm not sober.
You had better moments back then.
I'm not sober. I would do that combo today.
Right.
Because it's all psychedelics, Molly, and ketamine.
So this is full scale then. You were a ketamine addict.
Yeah.
Who couldn't stop yourself.
Yeah.
And you've since now done ketamine again, but been able to do it moderately.
Yeah, I got 1 gram. I gave away some of it, did it with friends, and ended up doing like probably half a gram in a night to myself as like my big splurge.
Right. And you've said that ketamine's the type of drug, if you have it in the house, you have to do it. You can't resist it.
Yes.
But you can resist how much you buy up front.
Yeah, I can resist how much I buy up front, and I can resist myself from going out to buy more when I run out.
That'd be interesting. That'd be like if an alcoholic, like, they could buy themselves just a 6-pack.
Yeah.
And then they just crush the 6-pack.
Yep.
But then they don't go back out.
Well, it's almost like an alcoholic who buys like a 50 rack.
Right.
And is like, I'll drink like 8 of these tonight.
Yeah.
And then like not drink for a while. But and then they're like, actually, the next night they're like, fuck it, why not? And drink another 8.
But then the solution would be don't buy a 50 rack.
Yeah, exactly.
Buy
so
what
I
you can handle.
Yeah, I can now just go and buy a 6-pack and be like, I know I'm going to kill all of it.
I see what you're saying. I think what you're basically saying is like, it is technically impossible to know whether or not someone could ever do a drug again.
Yeah.
When people say, like, the religiosity of AA, where they're like, I can never touch this stuff.
Yeah, I've got to sacrifice it to a higher power, all that shit.
Yeah, it's like...
Or a power beyond myself, at least, not a higher power.
No way to know for sure.
Yeah.
And in all likelihood, I mean, if you're doing great, keep going. You don't need this bullshit in your life anyway.
Yeah.
And there's also probably a very high likelihood that people with highly addictive personalities will keep coming back and eventually fuck their lives up.
Yes, and I have fallen back into addictive patterns with the things I do still do.
Right.
There are certain things I don't do at all anymore, or very, very rarely do. And certain things I would, like I've done 70 drugs. About 55 of those I would do if I was offered them.
Right.
But nobody ever has them because nobody's ever heard of them. So it's like, unless I'm hanging out with guys from the shroomery, then I'm not going to be offered this shit.
Right.
So,
but there's a few you may stay away from because you just couldn't control it.
yeah, like I wouldn't buy powder cocaine because I know if I have it, I will do all of it, and then I will also go out and buy more shortly after and be like, I could find a way to get this back in my life.
What is it about cocaine? Because cocaine seems less euphoric than a lot of the things you just mentioned.
It is, but it's how functional it is. And it's euphoric in such a distinct way that it's like manageable. I also was never a big binger on coke. The most I would do is like under half a gram in a night. People will often buy a gram and kill it in a night. Sometimes people buy an 8-ball and kill it in a night. That's 3.5 grams.
So it's like your same issue with nicotine.
Yeah.
Where it's like you think you'll talk yourself into like, oh yeah, I can just be a casual coke user now.
Yes. And it's the same with nicotine where it's like, I will end up hitting anyone's vape who has one.
Yeah.
Where it's like, if it was coke, if I saw somebody who's doing coke, I'd be like, hey man, can I get a bump of that? I'll give you $5.
This is an OCD thing, but can I have that back?
Yeah, absolutely.
You can take another hit.
Sure.
But just you holding it is it's weirdly suspended.
No worries. If it's distracting, that's fair.
Preach.
No problem.
I mean, if you want another hit.
Of course.
Although, you know.
I'm not weed.
Yeah, that's all I have.
Is that the only one you have?
That's the only indica Delta 9 vape that I have.
Oh, fair.
I have a Delta 8. I lost my sativa one. I have another Delta 8 one. I'm not going to do Delta 8 anymore.
That's fair.
I like Delta 8 because it's cheaper and it's but it's just not the same.
It's not.
I bought it when I thought it was the same.
Yeah.
Or close enough to the same.
Well, you weren't getting as high then either. Now that you're getting higher, you probably notice more differences.
That's where you really notice the difference.
Yeah.
Because when you get really high on Delta, I mean, you can get like trippy high on Delta 8 for sure. If I take huge puffs off my Delta 8 pen, I'll get high as fuck. But it's not as good of a high.
Yeah.
It's not as relaxing. It's not as like spiritual feeling.
Yeah.
It just feels a little more generic, if that makes sense.
Totally. It feels soulless.
More soulless.
Yeah.
Not completely soulless, but more soulless.
Yeah. Less going on mentally.
Marijuana feels like you're tapping into some ancient root.
Yes. Terrence McKenna felt the same way about ketamine.
That it's less like that.
Yes. That there is no, like when you do DMT, it is you're transported to another world, but it is an occupied world. There are things and beings. Same with salvia. Same with mushrooms.
Right.
With ketamine, you are transported to an empty room. That you are then catapulted around, and it's filled with fantasy-like sequences.
Weird.
Yes.
It's a weird way of putting it.
It's very odd, but it's an empty, unoccupied, sterile world.
And that you would corroborate that.
Generally. The general feeling on ketamine is you are in some kind of, almost a factory. It's like, it's all mechanical, and it's this, like, idea, like, processing machine. It's almost like you're seeing your brain as a mechanical structure.
But it feels euphoric as fuck.
Absolutely. And you get into these trances that are just like so filled with feeling and meaning. Because it's all about your way of thinking. And there are almost moments where you feel like you are physically moving through your thought, the ways you think. You're like, oh, I go to this thought and then I pivot over to here, and you're literally traveling to these places.
That sounds so cool.
It's awesome.
Whereas DMT, salvia stuff, that stuff might not feel as euphoric.
DMT does. Right. DMT is the only thing. Psychedelics generally are the only thing more euphoric than Molly. And DMT might be the most euphoric psychedelic.
Because is ketamine, is that even considered a psychedelic?
No, it's a dissociative.
Right.
Which is one of the 3 classes of hallucinogens. There's psychedelics, dissociatives, and deliriants.
That's weird. But you can still get deep meaning from ketamine.
Yes.
Even though it's not a psychedelic.
Yes.
Yeah.
I should also mention the 4th category of hallucinogens is empathogens, which are like Molly.
Got you. But so that's why ketamine, you think, doesn't do as well in this. I mean, it has been shown to help with depression.
It does. It's good for like acute Band-Aid. It's like a good acute Band-Aid for suicidal ideation.
Right, but it's less for long-term cognitive shift.
Yeah, the benefits don't seem to last as long.
For whatever reason.
I think it's like 4 to 6 weeks is the average, whereas for like mushrooms, it's like fucking 6 to 12 months.
Do you think there's anything special, like if these studies were being done with DMT or ayahuasca instead of mushrooms, do you think it'd get a similar result, or there's something special about the psilocybin?
Ayahuasca would probably get the same results, I would say.
Yeah.
DMT, and mushrooms are pretty much ayahuasca.
Right, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, because mushrooms are the chemical structure is 4-PO-DMT, and that's compared to regular DMT. Ayahuasca, and so the 4-PO part allows it to be eaten, and work. Because if you eat regular DMT powder, it will be destroyed by an enzyme in your liver called MAO, monoamine oxidase. And so you need to take another, which is why ayahuasca uses one plant that contains DMT and one plant that contains an MAO inhibitor. So that one plant shuts off that enzyme, and then you eat DMT, and it gets passed into your brain instead of being destroyed.
So you can't really eat DMT.
No.
You have to smoke DMT.
You have to smoke or snort or inject or put up your ass DMT.
Word. And because you're not eating it, that's why it's shorter acting and more condensed power.
Yes. Yeah, if you put it up your ass, it would last longer than if you smoked it.
Just like sex.
Yeah, and if you... I think it'll last quite as long as if you put it up the ass.
Yeah.
Quickly come.
Have you, do you think you'd ever be open to getting pegged someday?
I don't like any penetration in my ass.
You sound like a man who's been there before.
Oh, I've tried it. Not pegging, but like a finger. I've tried a finger up the ass.
And it just was physically uncomfortable.
Yeah, not my thing. I like getting rim jobs.
Was it more psychologically, like it made you feel too gay or whatever?
No, physically it doesn't.
It was
feel
like
good.
shocking.
Yeah. I used to put drugs up. I used to inject, do drug enemas. Boof drugs. I put drug water in my ass. And you have to use an oral syringe that is meant for oral use. And you just lube it up and put it up your ass. And even with the lube, it's fucking pretty... It's not the most comfortable thing in the world.
They say, the gays, say... I don't know where I heard this from. Probably my gay lover. But they say that the discomfort subsides.
Sure.
You get used to it. That's what butt plug. You stick a butt plug in there.
Yeah, I've had anal with girls, and they say the same thing.
And then it can feel...
great.
Maybe better than regular sex.
Sure.
If you have a prostate orgasm or whatever.
I can see it.
It seems like as an experienced aficionado, you'd be like, I wonder what that 2CB prostate orgasm is like. I want to really
I don't know.
take it to the next level.
I'm also heavily...
Not worth it.
I'm so not a sub.
Yeah.
That it's tough.
Well, that's my issue too.
I'm incredibly not a sub. I've tried, and it's just not my thing. Because I've been with girls who like to dom, and I'm like, all right, you could try. I've been choked, and it's just I don't like this.
No, I so wouldn't be into choking. But if a girl is just really aggressive, if a girl just pushes you down and rides you like a fucking show pony.
Oh, if they do what they want to do with me, sure. But
that's hot.
Any impression I can't pick you up with one hand and murder you is just I can't get
I have to pretend I'm not resisting.
Yeah, I used to try to... one of the early jokes I wrote before I did much stand-up at all, when I was just writing for a couple of years, I wrote this joke that was I can't sub because I can't, what am I going to pretend you're a fucking doctor? You're retarded.
Right.
You're a fucking stupid girl.
Right.
Not every girl, but this specific girl. You're my dumb girlfriend.
Right.
What I'm going to be oh yeah, you're going to come in here and take my heart pressure with your stethoscope?
Right.
It's just the idea of saying stethoscope really got me.
Or if you can't make a dumb person into a doctor, you can't make a woman into something that's physically capable of dominating you.
Yes, unless it's Ronda Rousey.
Well, dude, I have a stand-up bit.
Sure.
About
I think you did. I think I heard this
at the cupboard. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I'm getting pegged, I'm not getting pegged by Anna Kendrick.
Yeah.
Right? I want somebody. I want like an alpha bitch to like. I want to feel like it's not voluntary. 'Cause
Yeah.
If I feel like it's voluntary, I'm gonna be like, I'm being such a bitch right now, letting this happen. But if
Yeah.
I actually don't have a choice, because this chick is just like consensually raping me.
Yeah.
Maybe I could get into that, but it would have to be a woman.
Yes.
Can't be a man.
I think that's not really a choice.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like it if a guy raped me.
But it's true. Well, I wouldn't like it if anybody raped me.
What if somebody was like, "Miracle, I'm gonna make your dream come true. One stipulation: it's a guy."
Yeah, like dream ruined. Yeah.
We found your dream girl. She's gonna marry you. She's
Yeah. But no, like a
Take care of
really
you.
experienced, filthy MILF.
Yeah.
Who's just like, because that's the other thing is getting pegged. I feel disgusting. I have a hairy ass.
Yeah. me
I don't have
too.
a hairy asshole. I have hairy cheeks.
Oh, I have a hairy asshole.
That's.
I think not the asshole itself. I guess I wipe so hard I don't have hair there.
Okay.
But
That's clutch.
yeah, I had to share that. But
You gotta wipe pretty fucking hard there, man.
dude, I fucking that Sam Hyde episode of the Skins, where it's like
White, red, brown. Yeah.
brown, red,
Yeah.
brown, white, red.
Yeah. Too real.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
Too
good.
fucking real, dude.
Fucking Nick Rochefort.
I'm the same way. Like I want that thing sterile.
Yeah.
I can't deal with shit anywhere near my ass.
No, I felt like I left my house on the way to the stress factory today, and I had like wet ass because I had horrible shits earlier.
Yeah.
And I got to the stress factory, and like the mic started, and I was like, let me just go to or not when the mic started, probably 10 minutes before. I was like, let me go to the bathroom quick. Like right before you got there, I was in the bathroom.
I'm sorry. I'm just laughing at that dude who's been like, you guys ever have spicy butt?
Dude.
Dude, he was making the thing shake though. Why is he the only one where the stage was shaking?
Yeah, it was a very flimsy stage, and he was just a little too fat.
That guy was a freak, man.
He was just a big Italian
He
guy.
didn't laugh at anything.
Yeah.
And the whole time.
Yeah.
Because remember, I thought that he might be the guy who he wasn't.
Yeah.
Who, like, you know,
Yeah, I
goes
know
to
what you're talking
shows
about.
and stuff. So I'm like, I was like trying to get him to laugh because I thought he might be, and because I saw he was a harsh critic because he wasn't laughing at anybody.
Sure.
Wasn't laughing at me either. I never saw him laugh once.
Yeah.
Like, what are you here?
Yeah.
There's
Well,
no.
is he there to do his own shit?
He's there to do his own
That's
shit.
a lot of comics.
But like, even if you're there to do your own shit, if you're not paying attention, sure. But he was watching every act, and like, do you literally just not find anything they're saying amusing?
I mindlessly watch. So it looks like I'm paying attention, but I'm just like in my own head talking to myself.
I mean, I do
whatever.
that sometimes, but like, you know, if somebody's really fun, like we were laughing.
I found it very difficult. I'd watch people, but I found it difficult to understand what they were saying because the room was so
Well, this
echoey.
room was brutal.
It was an incredibly echoey room, all hard surfaces, high ceilings. It was a ballroom with no soft surface anywhere.
It's awful, dude.
It was terrible.
But anyways, you had wet ass on the way there.
I had wet ass. I had to go to the
wet ass,
bathroom.
bussy.
And I was like, no way is it that bad. I was gonna be like, all right, I'll just keep my pants buckled even. I kept my belt buckled.
Yeah.
And I just shoved my hand down my pants with some toilet paper and wiped, and I was like, damn, that's fucking brown. And I pulled my pants, not like brown, but like it's like tinted.
There's something there.
There's a tint.
Yeah.
And,
Damn.
it's like at the end of the day when you get back from work and you wipe. Just do
Yeah.
a dry wipe. You're like, this is brown.
What did you do with your hand?
I had toilet paper on my hand.
I
just shoved it down my pants.
Oh, I
wiped,
get it.
and
I
was like,
thought
oh,
you
shit.
did it with your bare hand.
No,
I
no,
was
no.
like,
I
that's
realized
so
it sounded like
disgusting.
that at first,
Yeah.
but I'm not Indian. I'm not from New Delhi.
Sam Hyde had a one-liner on one of his podcasts. He was playing video games.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when he's like playing Fallout or something, he'll just like start fucking spastically riffing. He looks miserable. And he's like, yeah, I had an Indian personal trainer once. He used to make me throw my own poop.
What does that even mean? Like, why is that? It's not playing on any stereotypes at all.
He likes associating Indians with poop. He'll describe their curry He'll throw poop in there, son.
Oh, that's fun.
I get it.
That's a fun running bit.
I get it, yeah. Oh, he's been, like, just repeatedly shitting on, like, throwing Indian into everything. He goes through phases.
Yeah.
Of, like, a different group.
That's fair. You get
that he's
obsessed.
shitting on.
It becomes fun.
Yeah. Finding new ways to meet. Did you ever watch that one where he brought 20 Indian people to that guy's podcast? Evan Matan.
No.
I'll resend it to you if you feel like watching. It is fucking bonkers.
Please
and
do.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
And Evan Matan is a really interesting, like, new podcaster as well.
Yeah.
He's this, I don't know how old he is.
Let me check the recording too.
Word. I think he's like 14 years old. He got famous for, one of the things that got him famous is he went to the, like, National Gamer Awards. I forget what it's called.
Yeah.
That fucking gamer conference. And when Elden Ring won Best Game of the Year, he snuck on stage, and in the middle of their speech, he just, like, walked up and he was just like he made them give him the microphone. They're like, who is this guy? And he was like, shout out to my rabbi, Bill Clinton, or something like that, and then just walked off.
Nice.
And then he started his own podcast. He's really like 14, and he's like pushing, he's got hella subscribers, and he gets like close to 1 million views on some things.
Yeah.
And he's just got this podcast where it's in this, like, it looks like a tent. It's the most stripped down thing. He's got this, like, cheap white table.
Yeah.
And this really weird, it's just this really weird avant-garde thing. And, like, he's going to really be something someday. He's really funny for a fucking 14-year-old.
Yeah.
It's hit or miss. But Sam Hyde went on there, and he hired, I think it was 40 homeless people. And I won't even say the rest. It was absolute madness.
That's awesome.
But
what's the guy's name
a
again?
lot of them were Indian. Evan Matan.
Okay.
He's Israeli.
Oh, wow.
He's a fascinating character.
Sounds like Rattan.
Yeah.
It's like an Indian name.
Matan. Yeah.
Rattan.
Matan.
Yeah. Matan. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, that's his name. Matan Evan.
Matan
I
Evan.
reversed it.
That sounds like a more Israeli
Matan
first name.
Evan. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he went on Bobby Lee and Andrew Santino. He's been on a few. He's making his rounds.
Yeah, bad friends. Yeah,
Bad friends?
Bad friends.
Not a bad debut.
Yep. She make pretty good friends if you ask me.
What were we talking about? Wet ass, spicy butt.
Yeah, I had a wet ass,
juicy
spicy butt.
Getting fucked in the, getting pegged.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to see how something feels in my ass, but I am not ethically opposed.
You
to
never
getting
put
pegged.
anything in your ass?
Nah, man.
Dude,
Too
when
much
I was
work.
like
Too lazy. to
When I was
poke
like
my butt.
9, I fucking put a toothbrush in my ass.
Of course you did.
I put a put a tampon.
I put a man's dick.
No, but I put a tampon applicator in my ass.
What?
And a tampon. I
Where'd
pushed
you
it
get
out of
it?
the applicator.
You get it at high school tampon dispensers?
No, this is before high school.
That would be creepy.
This
Oh yeah, it was you were
This
9.
is like I was
Yeah.
5th grade.
Jeez, you're such a freak.
Dude, I was a freak. I was a fucking freak.
Where'd you get the
Super freak.
tampon?
What does it matter?
That's where you draw. You've answered every single probing question so far. My mother.
I think it was one of the ones around my house.
Yeah. Wow. And what was your feeling then? You're like, this sucks.
You
didn't
Not
like
even. I was fine with it as a kid.
it. You grew to hate it.
I didn't love it, but I did fuck around with it. It actually did feel kind of good when I was a kid.
Yeah. You might want to revisit this, dude.
Yeah, but it's such fucking...
It's so gay.
Yeah, you end up getting toothbrush covered in shit.
It's not, you don't have to use a toothbrush, bro.
I might have to use a
Don't
toothbrush.
use your toothbrush.
It's got that curve, though.
It does kind of work.
Yeah. It stimulates the prostate.
Oh, you know what I
solution
want?
curve.
You know what I actually would be
Yeah.
so down for? A prostate massage. Have you ever seen these?
No, I've heard of it, but I thought it was just like getting fucked in the ass.
No, there's like niche places in LA. I don't know if this is legal. It can't be legal.
No.
But there's a bunch of porn videos where like some girl with gloves will just like lube you up. She'll give you a nice massage, and then she'll like very professionally access your prostate and milk it.
The way you say access and milk
It gets you going.
makes me feel like I'm being like factory farmed.
You are.
They will access your hole
It's
and
like
milk it.
under the skin. It's like
Then we will sell the milk.
yeah, they store your pre-cum in mason jars and use it to
That's really
start an island, populate an island with your offspring.
They really plug us into the Matrix while they do that to us all day long.
Yeah, that's what I was going. Under the Skin was way too obscure of a reference.
Yeah.
Shout out to Under the Skin, underrated film and movie.
Oh, word. Prostate
Yeah, dude.
orgasms experiences.
But imagine that you're just laying there and some hot bitch.
Not my
She probably
thing.
wouldn't be hot.
Probably not.
It's definitely not my thing, but I'm open to it.
Yeah,
I'm
fair
open
enough.
to it.
I would be if it felt better. I just don't like it. It might be that the girls I'm with have long nails and fucking whatever else. You know?
Yeah.
It's just like they're
Fat thumbs.
yeah, they're fucking not used to fingering guys.
Yeah. That's what I mean, though. You get one of those experts.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm pretty sure I'd enjoy it. From
They
an
pop
expert.
you open like a flower,
Sure.
like an oyster, and they
But,
find your pearl.
I never enjoyed it when I was doing the drug stuff either.
Yeah.
And you put it pretty deep. Like,
Mm.
it's probably...
Oh, it's in there. Well, you can reach it with a big middle finger. Mine definitely wouldn't get there.
Well, I probably had an oral syringe about that deep into my asshole.
I'm so gay, dude. I asked a gay coworker of mine because he told me he had a giant dick, and I
Yeah.
was like, "Do gay guys like big dicks too?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Does it like make a difference
Yeah.
for their pleasure?"
I'm
Like,
sure it does.
And he's like, "Absolutely." He looked at me like,
like,
"Don't
are you retarded?
Yeah, don't insult me." Yeah. And I'm like, "Wow, so there's size kings out there?
Yeah.
That's
They're
crazy."
still queens.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah. Kevin James.
Yeah. King of size queens.
Great sketch idea.
Totally.
I'm the alpha twin. Nobody gets daddy but me.
I
You
know.
gotta beg for him.
Kevin James. I never watched Kevin.
We hired Kevin James. We would give him our life's fortune.
That would be great. I never watched King of Queens.
Hell no, dude. I mean, I'm not a big sitcom guy at all.
Our close mutual friend did.
The one I'm thinking of?
The most obvious one.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
He watched,
Well,
he watched all of
them
them.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah, he watched. Dude, Friends is so awful.
But not with the girlfriend, just before all that. Like back in high school, I think. Or middle school, even.
Middle school's understandable. You're kind of a retard. in
I think it
middle
was
school.
like his version of George Lopez.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Dude, I watched George Lopez.
I watched George Lopez,
Yeah.
too.
It was like low ride.
Dude, as soon as I figured out that was war, I was like, oh, hell yeah.
Dude, I had tickets to see War.
Wow.
How fucked up is that?
I had tickets to see Journey and Toto
Oh, that would have been cool.
with that friend. And
Yeah.
he bailed.
Oh, I remember.
And I was like, oh, I'm not going to go alone. So
Yeah,
I sold my
that's
ticket,
depressing.
too.
Yeah.
But I regret it because I just heard Bill Burr talking on his podcast. He's like, dude, I just saw Journey and Toto. And he's like, they fucking
Rubbing
ripped,
your
dude.
face, yeah.
They're also like, they're both, the bands are both products of like a bunch of great studio musicians coming together.
Yes.
Journey is famously that way with like
Yes.
members of
Santana.
Santana and Steve Miller Band.
I saw Santana open for Journey at MSG.
Oh man,
That was a fucking sick ass concert.
that's fucking sick.
And I'm not the biggest Journey fan.
I'm a huge Journey fan.
But seeing them live was awesome.
I can only imagine in my
Stadium
mind, they're the
band.
stadium rock band.
They're top tier.
Yes.
Queen, Journey,
And there's not much more time that you could see these people.
No, well, Journey's a little bit younger, and their singer
God.
is literally Steve Perry, which is crazy.
Still?
No.
Oh no, I was gonna say like, did
I
they
mean,
get him back for
no,
a
he's
reunion?
actually
No, he's Asian Steve
the
Perry.
opposite of literally Steve Perry, because Steve Perry is still alive.
Yes.
Steve Perry seems like a wonderful man, by the way.
Sure.
I've seen interviews with him.
Really?
He seems like it's weird. He's like this spiritual being.
He
Like,
seems like he would be.
he acts exactly like how his voice sounds. Like
Man.
he's just like this really uplifting figure.
I always loved their album art too, as
Yeah.
like a very early '70s psychedelia reference.
Yeah.
And they were like a jazz fusion band before.
Oh
they
yeah.
did, Dirty
Great
Shit.
musicians.
Yeah.
Phenomenal guitar player.
Yeah.
I like songs here and there. They're a little too poppy for my taste.
Yeah. But
But-
I think they're the perfect version of that kind of thing.
Dude, they, like, the women at this concert.
Yeah.
It was like nothing, because I've never, like, almost all the concerts I've been, I go to a lot of fucking heavy metal shows and
Yeah.
shit. Total sausage fest.
Sure.
There's nothing like the level of enthusiasm
Yeah.
of like fucking 20 to 50-year-old rich white women at a
Yeah.
Journey concert. It was like it was a truly religious experience for them.
Man.
And I enjoyed it through their, like, Don't Stop Believing. They were just fucking screaming.
Yeah.
They're losing their minds.
I want to be that for comedy. I want to be the Journey of comedy.
So Andrew Dice Clay.
But like loved by women.
Yeah. Not hated by women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, just be like, yeah.
So
I'm
like
just-
Dane Cook.
Yeah. I just be like,
Here's my panties.
I'm the best arena comic. Yeah, in this premise, I'm an arena comic.
Yeah.
Which is the worst thing you want to be. I mean,
Yeah.
great for fucking ability
Although
to do that.
now, like, you know, there are like, just because comedy's so big. Like, didn't Dave
Yeah.
Chappelle and Joe Rogan do a fucking arena?
It's doable, but that's my argument is more that it's less fun. In a
It
way.
seems like it would be way less fun.
Yes.
They
At
were
least
talking
in
about
terms of,
how
like,
fun it is.
I'm sure it's fun because it's like Coke. It's
Yeah.
the biggest rush
It's
in
a
the world.
rush.
But it's like,
It
ideally...
feels like a very narcissistic rush.
Yeah.
Because it's like, this is clearly not the best venue for comedy.
No.
If you're trying to produce a great comedic experience for people,
Yeah.
why? Like, these are people who just want to say they saw a comic at Yankee Stadium.
Yes. And like, I've heard people talk about how it's like, you hear people being like, hey Frank, we're over here. And it's like,
Yeah.
you hear people like yelling at their girlfriends or like ordering food and shit.
Yeah.
It's like, there's so much going on, it's not even a real it's not an intimate stand-up
dumb.
environment.
Yeah.
Which is the most fun as a stand-up, I'd imagine.
Yeah. 100%.
Dave Attell talks about how he's been spoiled by clubs whenever he has to do like a
Yes.
theater or an arena.
Yeah. For sure.
But how do we get onto this?
Um,
Talking about seeing Journey and Toto.
oh, there was another oh, 2 shows ever I had tickets to that got canceled. Why did it have to be these shows? They both would have been incredible.
Yeah.
War, and I had tickets to see the Ink Spots.
Oh my god,
The
that would have been
living-
fucking incredible.
The Living Ink Spots at the Cabaret Theater in downtown Bridgeport.
Was it all the same people?
Not all the same, but many original members. They were old as dirt, and it got canceled because of one of the major hurricanes.
Wow.
Yeah, and they
Dude.
never rescheduled.
I gotta be honest, man. There are certain bands I am glad I saw, even if it was like late age for them.
I saw Black Sabbath's last tour,
Wow.
and it's one of the best concerts I've ever seen. It sounded exactly the same.
That's wild.
Ozzy Osbourne sounded exactly the same.
That's
it was like being
crazy.
transported to the 60s or something.
I've seen George Clinton about 5 times.
Oh, I should have seen George Clinton.
He's now a little too old.
That's the problem.
He just came over that hump.
I was considering seeing that last one, and you were like, it was shit. Don't do it.
I'd say he's like probably 82 now. Up until he was 77.
Yeah.
I didn't see him during COVID and shit. But like 2019 or 2018 I saw him. Fucking ripped.
I would have loved to have seen George Clinton.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. And he had a lot of young guys in the band now, but
There's a lot of people I regret not seeing, too. I could
Yeah.
have seen Dweezil Zappa so many times.
wow.
And everybody says it's an incredible show.
Sure.
I just thought it wouldn't be. I was
Yeah.
like, Grifter son, how close, Frank's such a legend, how close could it be?
Yeah.
Apparently he's an incredible guitar player.
Okay.
And he goes above and beyond to make it like the ultimate Frank Zappa. It's like Dark Star or something.
Oh, that's sick, dude. I just saw Dark Star again recently.
Yeah, you told me.
Oh, yeah. We'd talk on the phone for hours every fucking
Yeah,
week.
we should just do more podcasts.
Yeah, we should
monetize our conversations.
If people would listen to a phone call, it would be so much easier.
It would be sick. Although with AI, we could probably do virtual faces or virtual animations, or it's probably not getting too far from that point.
We should do the first not meta quest. What's that fucking thing? Metaverse?
Dominate the metasphere.
Yeah, do the metaverse podcast.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be
retarded.
so gay.
So gay. It's like, we should do a podcast with me's.
Yeah.
But,
Sims.
yeah, I mean, I saw Bob Dylan. That was pretty sick.
You saw Bob Dylan?
I saw him a few years ago, yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
With Weezer?
No, I saw him a few years ago.
Okay.
I saw Weezer like 5 times.
Well, just because he was touring with them for a while.
Oh, really?
He's either Weezer or Wilco.
Wilco would make way more sense.
Had to be Wilco.
Yes.
Yeah.
Weezer I've seen a lot, though. I've seen them probably 4 or 5
Right,
times.
we were talking about Weezer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Bob Dylan was sick.
Did he sound pretty good?
Not great.
No.
No.
No. And he's also not the best live act.
No.
Because he's singing fucking... Again, Bob Dylan's somebody you should see at a small club in Greenwich Village.
Yeah, this was at the Palace Theater. So it was
That's not that bad.
Not bad. It was a nice vibe.
Okay.
And a lot of old people.
Good for him, because he could sell out MSG if he wanted to.
Yeah, but I was on like 200 milligrams of edibles, so I don't remember much of it.
Yeah. Greatest concert I've ever seen.
Dude,
He
so
was
many
like
shows.
Hendrix.
So many shows I've completely forgotten. I saw Chance the Rapper right after Acid Rap.
At College Street?
No, at Firefly Music Festival 2014.
Oh, fuck.
But I smoked 3 fat Jamaica joints.
Yeah.
Like in a row.
Yeah.
Literally chiefed 3 in a row, and then he started the show. I remember 0.
Safe to say, I mean, you would say you have a moderation problem?
At one point, I had a much bigger moderation problem. These days, I'm pretty good.
Okay.
With almost everything. Actually, I'd say everything. I'm pretty good with everything. Even the ketamine, I wasn't K-holing the whole time when I did half a gram.
Right.
I was like dipping in and out so I could write at the same time. I could write comedy stuff on it.
Yeah. I mean, you're not like you do, and like you can go hard sometimes.
Yes.
But it's not, you can keep it in check to a reasonable extent.
Yes, and even when I went hard, I would measure all my doses. It would all be perfectly calculated, so
Yeah.
I know I would be trying to get as high as I could while not being at any risk whatsoever.
Right.
So like I had 3-MeO PCP was like one of the ketamine analogs I would use. And I had it dialed in to the point where I was like, I could do 27 milligrams, but 30 is a problem.
Right.
So it's like I would do 27 every night.
Well, do you feel like you're overindulging in weed a bit at the moment? Would that be the only thing?
I don't, because I feel like I'm doing it for the sake of being more present in life and being in a better mood on a daily basis.
Do you feel like you could maybe do it more efficiently if your tolerance wasn't as high? Like if you did a thing where you just did like one big hit in the morning, or do you kind of do that anyway?
I basically do
You're
that
not
anyway.
like chain smoking all day.
No.
Yeah.
I drink coffee and take like 2 hits in the morning out of a vape.
Right.
Not even like smoking any weed. It's just vaping.
The Mighty?
Yeah. Which
Right.
is also way more fucking Mighty by Stores and Bickle. Highly recommend, please. Dude, that'd be sick to get a Volcano sponsorship.
That'd be fun. I don't even know if they do that.
I'm sure they
We'd
don't.
have to tap into the German audience.
Exactly. Stores and Bickle. But, that's the
That
brand,
would be
the
so
company
sick.
name.
Incredible company.
But I take 2 hits out of that in the morning, and then 2-3 hits, because when I shut it off, there's 1 extra hit because it's heating down. So I take 2 or 3 hits in the morning with coffee. I have like 3 cups of coffee first thing in the morning. And then I go do mics. And then if I'm doing like 4 mics, then say I do Tiny Cupboard all day, and I do 5:30, I'll have smoked before that at like 4. I'll do 5:37 smoke, or vape rather, and do the 8:30-10, and then vape all night.
Word. Yeah, so it's not a big deal.
No, and before, like, I had previously been vaping all night, just not during the day at all. And I feel like the only reason I started doing ultimately probably 6 hits during the day is because it does make me feel like I'm in a better mood to start my day and I'm more present in the moment, which I feel like is more beneficial to stand-up than being completely sober.
Word. Well, you want to end on one more semi-serious topic?
Sure.
One more not. We didn't. We touched on the monogamy thing.
Yes.
Which is fascinating to me.
Yes.
How we've talked a lot about drugs and addiction and self-control and how that applies to sex and romance.
Yeah.
Right? While also still acknowledging that women will probably play a big role in our lives, and there's a good chance that having a deep connection with a woman may be necessary in some capacity to be as happy as possible.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. I'm fascinated with the idea of monks and
same.
People who are able to even transcend that. Because most people, when they say, like, shallow pleasures or carnal pleasures, right? They'll be like, cheap thrills or, like, drugs, alcohol, food.
Non-wholesome pleasures.
Yeah, you want to go for some, they're temporary.
Yeah.
They suck. You feel worse when it's over.
Yeah.
You want to look for deeper, more systemically fulfilling things.
Yeah,
like
sustainable
a great
stuff.
Relationship, like a sustainable source of support and love.
Yeah.
Or a great career, a passion, a pursuit, something that colors your life with meaning. Well, what if you can if there's a boss level, if there's one subterranean below that of spiritual joy.
Yeah.
Where, like, and that's where you get, spiritual gurus and stuff who abstain from sex and stuff, but appear to be some of the happiest motherfuckers on the face of the earth.
Yeah, what if you can clip through the wall and skip Bowser?
What if you
could do the Bowser skip reliably?
By castrating yourself.
It's like no balls, no Bowser.
No ball. Yeah, what's Bowser even gonna do? If Mario was a eunuch, Bowser would be like, well, whatever, dude.
I put the Nick in eunuch.
It's cruel to fuck with you now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've given up
your balls.
Yeah.
He's not even Mario, he's Maria.
What was Bowser's whole thing? Was he trying to steal Peach?
Yeah, he kidnapped Princess Peach.
Why? Was he, like, infatuated with her?
I think to presumably probably rape the shit out of her.
Well, because that's like bestiality. That's weird.
Well, not for him, for her.
Bestiality.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine if animals can rape. How scary that would be.
That'd be terrifying. They can.
That would be worse.
That's a whole King of the Hill episode.
Oh, really?
Great.
I'm stealing another.
Yeah. A dolphin, he like gets fucking Luann, his niece, gives Hank Hill a coupon for a free dolphin experience where he meets with a dolphin and
that's right, dolphin rape cage.
Yes, and then he like swims with it and it gets turned on because he rubs its belly.
Yeah,
and then it starts tackling him and playing with him and then pushes him up against the glass and tries to fuck him.
I did a deep dive on dolphin. It's mostly fake news.
Really?
It happens. I mean, there's very rare instances.
Sure.
But it is possible. But I'm saying, like, what if that was commonplace in the animal kingdom?
I'd be terrified.
I would
be squirrels.
I would maybe be even more terrified. Like, it might be worse
than
being mauled or killed by them.
I'm thinking, like, what if, like, squirrels and pigeons could rape you? The shit that's, like, on your everyday life.
I mean, that would be really annoying.
Like, they kept trying to rape you?
They'd be a real pest.
But also, I'm never wearing shorts again.
Also a dealable problem.
Yeah.
Right? You can kill them, swat them away. But, like, if a bear wanted to rape you, that would
not be good, but how often do you run into a bear?
Super problematic.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you'd run into them more if they were sexually turned on.
That would be funny if they started coming into human communities because they're like, we want to rape you guys.
They're into it.
What if they don't even eat us? They just rape us and they're like, we're going to make you live with the trauma.
Like hippos kill more people than ever. Well, imagine getting raped by one.
Oh my God.
Just slobbering all over you.
And if anybody's ever screamed chode, it's a hippo.
Yeah.
It's got to have a big old chode.
While they're getting raped.
Yep.
I'm looking up hippo dick after this.
Nice.
I'm actually really curious what it looks like.
I can show you. I can whip it out later.
Yeah, dude.
My
You're
hippo dick.
Hungry hippo yourself.
Did you? One of Mitch Hedberg's, I think, probably dumbest jokes, but I love it. All of his stuff. He has this joke that's like, is a hippopotamus a hippopotamus? Or is it just a really cool hippopotamus?
I remember that one, yeah.
It's a great one. It's like one of those that's like you would see it on a popsicle.
Yes.
but I kind of do love it. It works for him.
Yeah, 100%. Man.
Yeah. Dude, there's a guy, I think he goes by Tiz Irie. His last name is actually pronounced Irie. But
So he's not like a
Jamaican guy?
Yeah, he's not a Rastafarian.
No, but he's a black guy. Tiz Irie. But
okay.
It's spelled Irie, I-R-I-E.
That's a cool ass fucking name.
It's a sick name, dude.
Yeah.
But he's funny as fuck too. He's a comic. He's an open micer. But he has similar to Mitch Hedberg style jokes. And
coming from a black guy, that's weird.
But he's like a stoner type, it seems.
Okay.
And I know the guy pretty well.
So he might be a Rastafarian.
No, he's not. I brought it up once on stage. I was like, is your last name really is your last name Irie because of Jamaican roots?
Yeah. And he's like, it's actually Erie, you racist.
Yeah. Well, he says Irie to make it easier for people. But he was like, nah, it's actually Erie. And I was like, all right. But
suspicious. Yeah. It's like, bro, are you Jamaican or not?
Are you trying to
your
pretend?
fucking mind.
Are you trying to pretend to be black?
Yeah.
He's just a different kind of black. But he has these like great one-liners. I don't want to fucking mention any of them.
Yeah, say his jokes.
I don't want to burn jokes, but he's fucking hilarious, dude. I saw him at a friend's house show the other day. And
that's cool.
He tore it up.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was mostly a comic audience, but there were a few real people.
That style prevail.
Yeah, I enjoy that stuff so much, and it makes sense to me.
It's so wholesome.
Yeah, I do love it.
It's a nice mix-up that you can get people to laugh. You know, with and get all demographics to laugh.
Yes,
like there's a nice universality to it.
It's also like some crowds will not laugh at that kind of stuff because it's almost like hearing a riddle.
Yeah.
So many of those Hedberg style jokes, they're almost like a riddle where you have to take a second to get it.
Some of them are confusing.
Yeah, some people don't get some of them.
Yes.
Like one that kind of went over my head for a while was a T-ski. He's like, I wrote down T-ski. I don't know what that means. I don't remember what that means. He's like, oh, I remember. I want to fill a lake with tea bags so I could ski on it.
That's the whole joke?
Yeah.
I mean,
and then water ski on it, basically.
I don't feel like that's one that people wouldn't get.
I feel like
it's just not that funny.
The idea of it all being on
a lake of tea.
Yeah, it looks like bumps. It looks like white.
Yeah.
So it's like real skiing, but it's also like you're skiing.
It's a cool idea.
And he's like, I think it actually was just like, I want to fill it with tea bags, and I could tea ski. Because he's like, I don't want a water ski, I want a tea ski. Yeah. But in order to do that, I gotta fill it with tea bags.
Just dumb as fuck.
Yeah, dude. I hate not having my phone. Because I could just play it. I don't have podcasting. I can't play it on a podcast.
Well, we're almost done anyway.
Yeah.
But,
this might be a two-parter.
It's likely a two-parter or some cut and paste or what have you. Yeah. But, yeah, man, I just wanted to touch, because of personal fascination. Like,
yeah.
What, so you said that before that it may be less of sexual lust and it may be more, you don't know if one woman can fill all your romantic desires.
Yeah, not desires.
Or at the very least, you wouldn't want to commit to it.
Well, it's more like, in the same way that I'm like, maybe one day somebody offers me an oxy and I want to take an oxy.
Right.
I'm probably not going to get back into taking oxy all the time. Coke would be different. I might, same with cigarettes. I might just start smoking cigs all the time.
Right.
But oxy, it's like, I could do that once and be like, all right, that's fine. And I want to be able to go with my instincts as long as they won't be, potentially life-ruining. And so it's like, part of going with my natural instincts is if I'm attracted to someone and they're attracted to me, I want to be able to have sex with them.
Right.
And I'd like to still have deep relationships with women. Maybe not just one at a time.
The difference would be you can do one-off oxy and, as long as you don't abuse oxy, it doesn't affect anyone other than yourself.
Yes.
But if you're in a monogamous relationship with a woman and you have that one-off experience with another chick,
yes.
To me the question is like, why is it worth it if if you...
Well, it's not if we're monogamous. That's why I'm not getting in a monogamous relationship.
But why? But it sounds like you said you may you may never want to get in a monogamous relationship.
Yes, because I may always want to have the opportunity to go have sex with someone if I want to.
Well, what do you? I guess then what do you predict?
What do you mean? As my future?
Yeah, because you've said, okay, you've been in love 5 times.
Or like, what's my ideal?
Yeah, maybe what's your ideal
relationship style?
Yeah.
Ideally, I would have a girlfriend. Right now, I don't have the time and energy to commit to pleasing somebody. But in that way, with like regular time and financial commitment and all that.
Of course.
But eventually, I would like to have a partner, girlfriend, specifically, not a guy. I swear. I'd like to have a girlfriend who is cool with me fucking around, like fucking other people. And
but she doesn't.
But she doesn't.
That's every man's.
But that's also not totally, and I wouldn't want that from anyone who doesn't want to do that.
Right.
I would only want that if someone is into me, doesn't want to have sex with other people, and doesn't mind me having sex with other people. Which, everybody's different.
It exists.
Yeah.
It's rare, but it exists.
I've been offered that before by someone who I know wouldn't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
But I don't have the ability to be a good boyfriend right now because I don't have the time and energy.
Right.
If I did, that would be a different scenario possibly. But
I'm saying if you were placed in a situation where you feel like you loved a girl, or at least you were with her for a long time monogamously.
Yeah.
Got a lot of enjoyment out of the relationship. Satisfying enough sex life.
Yeah.
You know, but at some point you're maybe like eyeing other girls and she's like, "No, I'll leave you if you have sex with another girl." Do you feel like at that point that would be a deal breaker? You'd have to go your separate way.
Yeah, but I would never get into that relationship in the first place.
But it's weird to me that is a deal breaker. But again, I'm speaking as...
The ability to have sex with other people?
Yeah. I'm speaking as someone I've never fallen in love. I've never been in a conventional long-term relationship. So I'm like, this is just, it's coming from a place of genuine curiosity and also theory. I'm like theorizing about how I would feel.
Yeah.
But it seems to me like casual sex, it's similar to the oxy example. It's like having sex with a woman one night, or a series of nights. It's just like doing oxy here and there.
Yeah.
It's a really good feeling experience. But you could easily, if I told you you have to go the rest of your life without oxy, it'd probably be like, who gives a fuck? There's a bunch of other drugs.
Yeah, but it's
not that big of a deal.
But there aren't other drugs when it comes to women. There are women, and then there's your hand.
Do you think you would just get too bored of sex with one woman then? Is that the problem?
I have. It just happens.
I think some people are a little bit different in that regard.
I mean,
at least I've heard.
It's not even that I would get bored, because that's completely irrelevant. It's just that I'm still attracted to other people.
But just because you're attracted to them doesn't mean you have to have sex with them.
No, it doesn't, but I do want to.
But then it's like, how badly do you want it?
Well, why is that even relevant?
Because it could, in this hypothetical example, it could jeopardize something that you want even more, which is love with one woman.
Why would it?
If she's not okay with it. You know what I'm saying? Which is
Yeah.
a very common story.
Yeah.
That's the most common.
No, I know what you mean.
Story. And it could be unknowable, you know.
I also don't, but I don't, the thing is, I don't want love with one woman if it means that I can't have sex with other people.
Is it like kind of a principle thing?
No, it's just that I don't want love with one woman that bad.
Right.
I don't even know if I ever will fall in love again.
Right.
It's not that huge of a desire. I'm very content in life.
Right. Yeah, it's not something you feel you need.
No, I'm not missing a relationship in any way.
And you may always be like that. It seems like the older you get, the lonelier it could be.
Maybe. I worry more pragmatically about, like, what if I fucking fall?
Yeah. Well, it's nice to have that support system.
But that's also why it's like, I'd like to ideally have a girlfriend who is cool with me seeing other people, or, like, because I would like to have somebody around and have an emotional connection that I'm deep with. But I also theoretically, I'm still unsure about what I will do pragmatically, because I think part of why humanity and apes before us had been able to be monogamous is that we have the power to decide to be monogamous.
Right.
So it's like, I may decide to be monogamous at some point.
Yeah, just because it's the best thing for you.
Why? Oh, if it, in the case that it is the best thing for me. Yes. If I decide that that is the best thing for me, I will do it. However, especially if my sex drive goes down when I get older, all that shit, it's like, there's no reason at that point.
Well, I'm in this state where my sex drive is down.
Mine's down pretty good right now.
Mine's been down for years.
Yeah.
And part of it is because I've been on SSRIs off and on.
Yeah.
And I do notice that when I'm off of the SSRIs, my sex drive increases for sure. My interest in casual sex increases.
Yeah.
But
it's also, I'm not interested in casual sex. Like, casual sex is emotional connection for me too.
No, I agree. It's not just the cheap thrill of like, ooh, it feels good on my dick.
Yes.
It's about, that connection that, like, it's like an expression of manhood in a way.
Yeah.
It feels like, but some of that could be indulgent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's an element of ego stroking. You get down to the nuts and bolts of, like, what's the fucking point? Other than just
what's the
pure
point
fun.
of anything? It's not just pure fun. Anything is pure fun in that way. It's also love. You can love someone that you just occasionally hook up with.
If it's consistent, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, one night stand type of thing.
Well, you could be infatuated.
Yeah, you can have one great, memorable night with somebody.
And the memory of it is a loving memory.
Yeah, but I'm saying in the scope, like, let me lay out my thesis, basically.
Yeah.
So the way that I'm looking at this, as someone who, even when I'm off of my SSRIs and my sex drive is higher, it just feels different than it did. It feels, I hope this is true. I hope it's true. It might not be true. I would like to have not that high of a sex drive. I would like to be able to just commit to one woman and not even have to worry about where my next source of pussy is coming from.
Yeah.
But it feels like even when my sex drive is higher, my perspective on sex has changed a lot. Because when I was younger, I felt like, one, I was insecure about, my sexuality and whether or not I could attract a woman, whether or not I could please a woman. So there was this conquest element of it. Of like, oh, if I have sex with a beautiful woman, I'll feel really good about myself. And also this novelty element too of, like, do I really want to live a life where I never go to Japan? I never see Italy.
Yeah.
It's like, do I want to live a life where I never fuck a 10 out of 10?
Yeah.
Where I never have sex with a Hispanic woman, or, like,
I do feel that way.
Things.
Do I want to live a life where I restrict myself for no logical reason?
The only logical reason would be that it's in your own self-interest. By proxy of, now I feel, because I feel like I've been broken, and in being completely broken, I've immediately realized what is actually important and unimportant in life, and, like, the only things that really matter for happiness. It's like, fuck Japan and Italy. Like, it would be really fun to go to Japan and Italy, but in no way do I ever need to go to Japan and Italy to have any type of meaningful, self-sustaining impact on my happiness.
No, of course.
But what could really aid and abet that type of long-term happiness is having a really great, rock-solid romantic partnership. And anything to compromise that It just wouldn't be worth it.
Oh, that's crazy to me.
Like a casual sexual encounter, it just seems like, at its best, it's a great one-off experience or a great series of one-off experiences, but it pales in comparison to having a loving rock by your side.
What if it's another loving rock?
How it seems like it would unlikely to be. Like, how much deep connection could you actually get from transient, like, fuck buddy kind of situation?
What if it's twice a week?
Well, I mean, at that point, like, well, first of all, like, the odds of us finding that rock in the first place are potentially unlikely.
I also don't feel like I've ever had somebody who's been a rock for me. It's rare.
It's very rare
for a man to be able to have a rock.
But I think it's
almost
possible.
I do think it is possible. I think it's more often the case that you are the rock 95% of the time, and 1 out of 20 times you get to cry, and with some women you don't.
I don't know, man. I think...
But I do think, like, it's just rare that... at least people like you and I, we're very stoic.
Yes.
There are rare occasions where we open up to the point that we need a rock.
Yeah, but we've learned to open up more and more.
Yeah, but I personally, I don't find it that beneficial to open up in unproductive, indulgent ways like that.
But what makes it unproductive and unindulgent? And it wouldn't be a rock in the terms of, like, I need somebody to rescue me or wipe my tears. It would just be like someone to, like, share experiences. I mean, it's the age-old thing of, like, it just, I mean, I would imagine that you, and it sounds like what you're saying basically is you're just dealing with loneliness way better than ever before.
Well, I'm also not
maybe
lonely.
You don't even really get lonely.
I hang out with 100 comics every single day.
Right. Well, it's the age-old thing of, like, this is what, like, J.D. Vance's line about the childless cat women, which I think was fucking hysterical.
Word. I don't know.
J.D. I'm not a fucking, I lean more left. I think Trump and J.D. Vance are scumbags, but...
You're not a Vance head?
Trump's vice president pick, J.D. Vance,
yeah.
I respect his honesty. And both of them, both Trump and J.D. Vance, it's one of the reasons why they've gotten where they are. They're funny. Yeah. They have a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
J.D. Vance, he was talking about, like, the demise of like classic Western values and the collapse of American society and like a bunch of bullshit I don't agree with. Yeah. And I didn't even agree with this point. I just thought it was hilarious that he said it.
Yeah.
He goes, we don't want America to be full of a bunch of childless cat women. Basically referencing the fact that our birth rate declining is a big problem.
Sure.
But actually, it is logistically an issue.
He's a Musk head.
J.D. Vance?
Probably. Elon Musk is very birther movement.
Antinatalist.
Antinatalist. Exactly.
But no, but you'll find a lot of people, they say, like, okay, yeah, you're young, you're hanging out with all your buddies, you feel supported by them, you're really stimulated, everything's great. You're this rocket. Your eyes are on success in your career, but at some point, what often is the case is you reach your success, you settle down, you get in a place where you're more comfortable. Vast majority of your friends get married and have kids.
Yeah. And
you find yourself a lot more lonely. Especially then when you get really old, and then it's really lonely because some of your friends start dying. It's harder to go out. It's harder to move because your body's not functioning as well.
I agree that when I'm 40, a relationship will be much more important.
And at that point, though, it seems like casual sex would maybe slide down.
In importance?
I get what you're saying, where it's not just casual sex. It's also like you don't want to restrict your ability to have beautiful connections with people.
Yes.
But
theoretically, I would like the ability to even have multiple equally loved partners.
I agree. But, okay, well then the issue becomes, why wouldn't you be okay with them having?
Because I'm jealous.
Right.
And it's like these could coexist.
Right. How could would you trust your ability to not be like? It seems like if you had a girl who was okay with you fucking other girls, it would almost seem too good to be true. Like that's how I would be like, how could she really be okay with this? You know what I mean?
If she's genuinely not that interested in other people.
It does happen with women.
A lot of women are just very happy to be with one person.
Some women are even into that. There's a subsect of women who are like, they want their man to be like an alpha cult leader type.
Well,
almost.
I think that's, I don't know about that, but,
well, I mean,
I do think.
I mean, like, they, like, are okay with their man sleeping with other women. Sometimes they even want to watch or partake, have threesomes.
Yeah, but guys are like that too. There are a lot of cucks.
There are, but I think that women are I think it's maybe more common.
Maybe.
I don't know the stats, but it seems like it's more of a blow to the masculine ego to be cucked.
I agree. But I'm thinking also it's like it's easier to find a woman who's happy to be with one man than it is to do the other end of it, which is to become happy with being with one woman.
I don't know.
I don't know either, and I might be totally wrong.
Yeah.
I do know that women, of course, are still attracted to other people when they're in relationships, and women cheat plenty as well as men do.
I feel like it's okay. So here's where I think why we probably are having slightly different perspectives. It's because I've never been in love and you've been in love 5 times.
Yeah.
Now, in love to varying degrees.
Yeah.
But still, my perspective is like, love is so fucking rare to begin with. It, like, the odds that I'm going to find that woman who I'm like, wow, I really could be happy spending the rest of my life. It's so, like, it felt like if I ever got that woman, I would just be so, like, overwhelmed with gratitude. I'd be like, this is too good to be true. I'll do nothing to fuck this up. Whereas you're more in a position of, like, I've kind of been there, done that. It didn't work out anyways.
Yeah.
So if I were to, and I probably could find women who I love.
Yeah. I think I'm also less judgmental than you in many cases. So I think it's like I'm less picky with the women I want to be with. I don't need them to have interests in all the things I have interests in and all sorts of stuff like that.
So in that case, then it wouldn't be as hard for you to find a woman who will let you sleep with other women because there's just more women in general that you
I'd
can
be
get
happy
with.
Yeah, that I'd be happy having a loving relationship with.
Whereas with me, it's like, I can't find a girl who I can have a loving relationship with. And so then on top of that, the odds that she's going to let me fuck a bunch of other girls.
Yeah, really. I do also doubt that, like, it's as hard as you think. I think if you were to date somebody, you would quickly realize, like, oh, even if we don't have that much in common, I still do love this person.
It's funny, though. I'm no fucking Myers-Briggs head, you guys. All right, I don't treat Myers-Briggs like astrology or anything like that. I know what you guys are gonna say, but there's some truth to, like, it's far from a super accurate prediction all the time of things. Yeah. I've also heard that the Big 5 personality test is even better. Some people say that. But there's definitely lessons you can take away. Like, there's a reason why people get the types that they get, especially if they take the test honestly. And at least with my personality type, I've definitely seen some, like, shockingly cryptic shit on there.
Yeah.
Like, you know, to your point, I'm not defining myself forever this way. But I thought of myself this way before I even read this.
Yeah.
I thought of myself as somebody like, wow, there's no woman out there for me. And then I read on the INFJ, it said on the Myers-Briggs, the INFJ is the type that is most likely to struggle, or it's their, of all the types, they struggle the most with finding a romantic relationship.
Yeah.
And I was like, God damn. But it's weird because I'm not dislikable.
No.
And I also don't dislike
everybody.
There's also a famous INFJ meme of, like, a child crying, and it says, when you can relate to everybody, but no one can relate to you. And that's not to be self-aggrandizing or pretentious in any way, but it does feel like I am like, I can connect with people very easily. I find it easy to appreciate all different types of people,
yes.
even people who I might not think are good people, and see good things in people. But what I actually need on the inside is like a lot more complex than that.
Yeah.
And I feel like there are a lot of girls who I would be a great boyfriend for.
Sure.
I think that they would have a great relationship with me.
Yes.
But they wouldn't give me what I need.
Yes.
Which is like deep, like very, very deep connection.
Yeah.
Like the type connection that we have.
Yeah.
But you don't have a vagina.
Well,
it can be made.
I've been lying.
Yeah. We could make that happen.
I used to have one.
But it's like, how many couples do you meet where their partner, they are equally as in sync with their partner as they are with their best friend? It's very rare.
Yeah.
Usually their best friend is like, in a way, the person they actually like the most.
Although sometimes the partner becomes the best friend.
Yeah, or at the very least the most loyal.
Yeah.
Like best friend in terms of like they have the most worth to you.
Yeah, and they're always like the most supportive of you and all that.
But not necessarily the one where you're like, wow, we are just like.
Well, yeah.
I don't know, and it's not even in a sexist way, because I don't think men are better than women. I don't think that women are. Like I've met a lot of women that are my intellectual equals.
Yeah.
But they're not intellectual in the ways that I want them to be intellectual.
Yeah.
And so therefore it feels like they are beneath me.
Well, they're complementary to men, whereas men relate to each other on a much deeper level.
Yes.
Women are an opposite that's helpful to have around.
That's what I mean. And for me, there's like
they balance us.
There's
out.
like a superficiality in that. You know what I mean? Where it's like, but I don't know. I think that I could. You're right in the sense that I could find a woman who, like, I have that unconditional love for.
Yeah.
But a lot of those women just get on my nerves after a while. They're like too extroverted.
Yeah.
Like I've met some great girls who, like, I think they'd be like, it'd be kind of dope to be in a relationship with them. But this is another big I'm a big believer that a lot of couples shouldn't live together.
Yeah.
At the very least, I don't think that should be necessitated.
No, I don't either. And also, any fucking relationship, they're gonna get annoying.
I'm so, especially with such an idiosyncratic dude like myself.
Yeah.
The thought of living with anybody, but especially a woman,
yes,
is guaranteed chaos.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That I don't know if I could deal with.
If not chaos, it's a much more turbulent element brought into your life.
Yeah.
Which is the case of any human being, but more so women because they're more feeling forward.
Even if I lived with you,
yeah,
it would be more annoying than living by myself.
Absolutely.
100%.
It is a factor out of your control in an environment that both of us prefer to have under our complete control.
Right. Some people like living with people.
I enjoy being with people, but it has to be like I have my spaces that will not be fucked with.
Yeah, at the very least, it'd have to be a big house.
Yes. Like, I could do one person in my apartment.
I would need a wing where I can double bolt my doors. And
I liked living with because we each had a room we could go back to and close the door and we're on our own.
Yeah.
Or we're in the same room together doing the same shit because we have the same hobbies.
I mean, that would be great. Like,
yes.
I think it'd be sick to live with you. But I wouldn't want to do it forever.
No, ideally, I'd like to live in, like, one of those, like, 6-house communes.
Dude, with a bunch of comedy buddies?
Yeah, dude, with like a big house in the middle.
Let's move to Austin, bro.
Fucking
Let's
A.
take over Austin. Me, you, fucking the boys.
Let's just bolster the Bridgeport comedy scene.
Just take it over.
I've always thought it'd be fun to have a club in New Haven, but I don't want to be a business owner.
At least not yet.
No.
Until you get rich enough where you can be hands off.
Where I could hire someone to do it.
Because New Haven would be perfect for a comedy club.
I agree.
They used to have one.
Yep, and there's so little going on there, but it's like I would hate if it turns out the mob is still a thing in New Haven.
Yeah.
To get hustled by them or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be brutal to get it off the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it could be a nice scene.
We should open up a club right next to the Stress Factory.
No, that's hilarious.
Called the Cheesecake Factory.
Well, it's funny because New Haven's everyone's favorite city in Connecticut to perform in.
Yeah.
So it's like, it would be great to have a club there. There are a lot of comics who would love to get in there.
There will be a club there someday.
Surely.
It's just a question of
because College Street Music Hall is popping off.
Huge.
And Toad's Place has always been a thing. They should have a small comedy club.
Yeah.
But I've always thought it'd be fun to just be able to live here and have a club I could frequent.
Hell
Because
yeah.
Stress Factory, it's too big.
Yeah.
There's like any shows there, it's like one headliner.
Yeah, it'll be interesting where we settle down. Because for financial reasons, I mean, obviously, if we end up being very well off financially, it won't matter that much. But, there's so much money to be saved just by moving out of Connecticut.
Yes,
it's like
true.
Tim Ferriss with the 4-hour work week.
Yeah.
Like, you could go to a place with no state income tax, low housing, and just save hundreds of thousands.
Move right up to New Hampshire, even.
Yeah,
Very low
that would
taxes.
probably be too rural for my taste.
Me too. I wish it was more or less so in the southern parts of it.
But who knows what's going to happen in the future?
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people are going to
deforestation.
be migrating up there.
Yeah.
They already are.
And it'll get warmer.
Vermont is super popular these days.
People love it.
It's a sick place.
I
They have
gotta-
a comedy club in Burlington.
Oh, nice. That's
Yeah.
good to know. I gotta rip a piss. You want to call this?
Let's call it, bro.
Have we talked about everything we need to talk about?
Fuck yeah, dude.
Sick.
It's been real.
Kratom Town.